What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and I'm joined, as always. You got a little bit of an echo, brother, but he's all good. Mr. EMdolphinfan, what's good, homie? How you feeling today, brother?
I'm good, bro. Still stewing over that loss. Yet, what we saw yesterday. But other than that, man, I'm good. I'm making it. yeah,
Making it happen, bro.
yeah. What's going on?
Man, just here, bro. Just got the Packers Falcons going on in the background. Just chilling, bro. You know what it is.
Freaking Aaron Rodgers is ridiculous, man. He's ridiculous.
Bro, next to Marino, I guess Mahomes is probably going to enter that conversation in about like 5 years, maybe. But next to Marino, probably the best pure passer I've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Like, honestly, man, I'm not even a Packers fan, but you know how many Aaron Rodgers games I've watched in my life because I'm just such a fan of him, man. And obviously, I'm a
Yeah,
fan of the position, right? So, like,
yeah.
he's been one of my favorite players since he came. He's just so special, man. Like,
Yeah, he
and
is.
we passed on him, bro, but let's not go down that road.
I know, right?
Bro,
Ridiculous.
let's talk about something before we get into Dolphin news. And more so, I agree with you. This is because I was just trolling you a little bit earlier on Twitter, but I agree with you. I think he lost his job because of, I know you didn't say this, but I know what you're implying. Without having to say it. I agree with you. He lost his job. Bill O'Brien is no longer with the Houston Texans, guys. He's been fired. And the reason why he's lost his job isn't the coaching. Maybe this year it was a little bit because they're 0-4, but it's more so his ability or lack thereof as a GM. That's where it's at right now. Multiple shakeup, and this affects us guys because the last thing we want is them shaking things up, making sure we don't get the first overall pick, bro, at the rate they're going.
Right?
So,
wonder who did they make Romeo Cornell the interim at this point? Is he the interim coach at this
I
point?
got to think that's the next move. I haven't actually seen who the interim is, but I got to think that's the next move.
Yeah, man, it's not. I'm not really surprised by this move. His questionable decisions as a GM. Obviously, the Laramie Tunsil trade. Thank you so much, Bill O'Brien. Appreciate it. It's greatly appreciated. And then he follows that up the very next year with the DeAndre Hopkins debacle. Yeah, in addition to the 0-4 start, I think it just was a recipe for disaster for him. Perfect storm was brewing. I think he, at the end of the day, I think he missed on his overall evaluation with his team because I think that he really thought 2 years ago that they were really that close. You don't make a move like he made to acquire Laramie Tunsil and give up that kind of
it is Romeo, by
draft
the way.
capital.
It is Romeo. They have announced it.
Is it? Oh, okay. But I think he just missed on the overall evaluation of his team. And you don't make a move like that with Laramie Tunsil unless you feel you're really close. And he took a swing, he struck out, and unfortunately, there's repercussions to every action, and he's suffering the consequences right now. And but Bill O'Brien, the coach, I see a lot of people on Twitter. And
he's going to become a coordinator, and then he'll be a coach in a couple of years again after being a coordinator.
Yeah,
he'll never be in the front office again.
Right. His track record speaks for itself. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think he's a very good coach. So, but it's what it is. And my question to you, Reason, though, earlier, I was thinking about this earlier, bro. Would you, obviously there's a connection, New England connection with him and Brian Flores. Would you entertain bring him in as like a consultant or assistant or something, anything at any capacity to bring him in on this offensive staff? Would you entertain that idea? Maybe it might be a little too soon to be doing that, but just saying, he's available.
I mean, at this point, we can use all the minds we have, right? And he's worked with Deshaun Watson, and you can't deny his development of Deshaun Watson's game because it started really at the end of his Clemson career, right? Deshaun Watson wasn't really known as a pocket passer until towards the end of his Clemson career, right? Last year and a half. Right. And I kudos to Bill O'Brien, because besides taking away weapons from Deshaun Watson, one thing I won't knock him for is he's continued the growth and development trajectory of Deshaun Watson.
I agree.
On a trending up. I tell people this all the time. There's literally a handful of players. There's a handful of teams that would not draft Trevor Lawrence if they had the number 1 overall pick. They would trade back. And I truly believe the Houston Texans are one of them. The other obvious being Mahomes with the Chiefs, probably Lamar with the Ravens, just because even the success they had, Seattle with Russell Wilson, exactly. Those are probably your short list. Even I think Denver, even though I'm a big fan of Drew Lock, they would probably move off of him for Trevor Lawrence, bro. So, or Cincinnati and Joe Burrow right now, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, I agree.
Or Justin Herbert and the Chargers, even if he trends evens out a little bit right now, they would still invest another year, right? They wouldn't make that commitment. So, you know what I mean? I just wanted to shout out our boy here. I haven't seen you around here before, Lee. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't remember. Pardon me if I forgot you. Lee Simpson says, I just listened to TD talk. He called Tua a one-week quarterback. All you have to do is watch Tua's body of work. And no, that is absolutely absurd. Actually, that's one of the biggest fractions we have with that platform when we came over from that platform and continue to this day. And Lee, I'm just going to direct you. All we got to say to you in response to you is, if you go watch episode 35 on this channel, you're going to see me and EM. We're going to go over Tua game clips, and I identify the twitchiness of his head, et cetera, et cetera. And then if you go to episode 36, the full story, you can watch the first 20 minutes if you want to, or you don't have to. But after that, we actually break down clips where Saban's talking about his ability to read through his progressions, when he got Travis Wingfield talking about his ability to roll through his progressions, and other people who, they get paid a lot more than me and EM make off PayPal, Patreon, and YouTube to do this stuff, right? So, that's all I'm going to say. You got to go watch there, brother.
Man, I'm not, TD's still up to his old tricks.
Yeah, he's just a shock. He's just a shock jock who, when it comes to the quarterback position, has been so off base. I don't even know why people even take him seriously when he talks about it. And multiple moderators on that channel fall under that same little umbrella. It's not just a one person thing over there. You got guys who, they didn't want, they got some deep-rooted reason for no pun intended, for not wanting Tua, when, let's be honest, last I checked, me and EM have got a lot of evaluations right, including free agency in the draft, and Tua is included with that because, it seems the Dolphins saw what we saw in him and not what all these other people are saying about him. So all you got is a collection of people who either wanted Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow to be drafted and didn't get their wish, or you got people who were
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, they had all their eggs in the Josh Rosen basket, and now all those eggs are all over their face. So,
I tell you, man, it's just see, this is why you don't let casual fans have a platform from YouTube. You know what I mean? Casual, and what I mean by that is individuals that are, that are limited in certain areas. And I'm not, I'm just not trying to bash anyone, but I'm just calling a spade the way I see it. And,
they don't know the nuances of the game, bro.
Exactly. They know
basics.
And the thing about it is, man, it's just frustrating. Yeah, it's exhausting.
You can sum it up like this, EM. This is all you got to say to people when listening. Anyone who tries to pass off a highlight package as a film study to their audience, you can tell right there they ain't watched film before, bro. That's all I got to tell you, man. I don't know what else.
This whole TD, and it's nothing personal with TD, but
no, it isn't. I'm just spitting facts. I don't hate anyone, because hate is way too strong of an emotion to invest into someone that doesn't affect my life. I'm just, people take it like that, but here's the difference. we ain't hating. All we're doing is stating. There's a difference, all right?
Yeah, I agree.
There's a difference between calling a spade and spitting truth and calling what it is, as opposed to just nodding your head and letting. Here's the problem. I'll tell you all right this right now. And here's the problem where a couple of these people in the little dark section of social media have an issue with me. You know why me and EM are brash and abrasive? A few reasons. One, we're alphas. Say how you want to say it. Me and EM are alphas. Period. Just in our personality, in our everyday life. And what you see on YouTube is just us, right? We just add a few things here and there. That's it. To just get everyone riled up and get everyone laughing and stuff. Other than that, what you see is what you get. We're alphas. That's it. That's just the bottom line. Now, there's other alphas in the Dolphins community, social media community, from Twitter, YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. Problem you're running into right now is you got basically a community on YouTube that's not used to in-your-face alphas that are also right a lot of the time, so they can add that to the repertoire. Like, that's just, and the people who don't like how we conduct ourselves, when we talk about we're right or when they see we're right, that even just irks them even further. That's the stuff that gets us living rent-free and heads out here. Like, you know what I mean? And it's all good, man. Here's the thing. Like, me and EM got an allergy. And you know what we're allergic to? We're allergic to idiocy. And we won't put up with it on our channel. And we won't put up with it in this community because, if anyone in this community is going to give y'all the realest talk and spit the realest facts and give y'all the truth when it comes down, it's going to be me and EM and a couple others in this community, but then there's a couple others in this community who don't. So that's all. I won't name names, but I'll just put it, I'll put it that way. So, and my community, guys, not just YouTube. I'm talking about Twitter. I'm talking about all that jazz too, guys. It's not just YouTube. Trust me on that one. But that's just it. And it's all good, man. I don't even, mods send us stuff of people talking, whatever, saying whatever they got to say. I don't even gauge. I laugh at it. If people got to go around talking about us, investing time and talking about us when we're not around, and if people got to go out of their time to subscribe to us so they get the notification pop up in their little box so they can come into here, give us the view, and hit the dislike. If we're in your head that much that you're giving us that much effort and that much time in your everyday life, me and EM are winning. Those are the people that are losing. I hate, I'm out here, EM had an opportunity to do it, but he's just got a busy life right now. But, out here working with Richmond Webb, these people, that's what I'm doing in my spare time. These people are out here hating on us in their spare time. So you tell me who's winning and losing. It ain't me. I'll tell you that right now. It ain't EM, because when EM in his spare time making more money than all these people hating can imagine about. So it is what it is, man. And EM and EM can attest to this. That's why I don't go into these comment sections, and that's why you don't see me on these platforms, because I don't want it. Like, instead of dealing with people who aren't worth my time, I can spend my time with people that are worth it, like talking on the phone with EM, like seeing my friends, like spending time with my family, doing stuff I enjoy with my life. Like, I just, like, that's it. That's the bottom line, man. And it is what it is. So when y'all hear us talk about someone, that basically is usually boxed into this platform, because we don't go out there and talk about them and think about them in our everyday life, because we got better things to do with it. So that's just how it is, boys and girls.
I agree 100%. It's just at the end of the day, man, we're just
you know what this is, EM? This is the home of the realest Miami Dolphin fan. That's what this is. Trademark, copyright, holla at your boy.
We're just confident individuals, and not to say that we're right all the time and we know everything. We're learning.
No, not at all.
Like everybody else, but
learn every day. We learn every day.
Exactly. We're passionate. We're confident, because one thing about it, we're confident because of the fact we put the work in. And I know in reason, and I'm just not saying this because you're my coach. I tell you this, and I tell people on other platforms all the time. You might dislike him, his delivery. You might dislike. You might disagree with him, his an analysis or whatever. But at the end of the day, you can't knock this man's grind. You know what I mean? He's on constantly. When we talk 3-4 times a day, it's always about football. For the most part, it's about football. It's football related.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, man, we're just confident individuals. And if that rubs people the wrong way, then, I don't know what else to tell you, but, it's authentic. And, we don't know any other way how to, conduct ourselves. We're not trying to we're not trying to make enemies out here. We're just trying to be educated and educate if we can, period. So,
and I just
the drama, all the haters, all the drama and all of that.
And just adding to what EM's saying.
Go ahead.
Adding to what EM's saying, guys, as purveyors of information, people who are spitting disinformation, false narratives, and not the truth and the facts, that rubs us. Like, that's probably our biggest pet peeve in this community. Because we started this whole channel, we joined in on that panel last October, all because we wanted to educate people and tell people what we were seeing, what we know, et cetera, et cetera. So as purveyors of information, people who purvey wrong information, false narratives, and don't spit the facts, we take issue with that because we want this fan base. We love this fan base, and we want this fan base to be the most educated and passionate in the NFL. That's it.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Joe B, because guess what? Hold that early L over there, because everyone else was taking Isaiah Simmons in that mock at 5, and EM were like, no. We on that train. No Isaiah.
Oh my God.
Over here, and Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, has poo, bro.
He has been an absolute disaster. Oh, where are all those individuals that was calling for we got to take Simmons. He's a generational player. We have to take. I can't believe we passed up on. He looks, again, I think he's having the same problem Jerome Baker has had since he's been in Miami. I think he's playing out of position. See, I just think he's just overwhelmed.
Positionalist prospect, bro.
Exactly. That's why you don't invest. That's why you don't invest a top 5 pick on a player that doesn't have a defined role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't do that. It's too risky. You have to have, when you're making that kind of investment in a player, they have to be exceptional at something.
And you know what Kyler's saying? Because you remember the reports before the draft. You know what Kyler's saying? What did I tell y'all about CeeDee Lamb? What did I tell y'all about taking CeeDee Lamb?
Right?
That's what he was. Right. That's what he's probably telling all of them. He's like, "Who's this jabroni you got as a middle linebacker when CeeDee Lamb's out here balling out of control and Dak's putting up 500 yards, bro? Craziness, bro."
Yeah, it's but it's still early. It's a small sample size, but he doesn't look. He looks like. I mean, he's having issues. He's struggling for sure.
Derek Brown's been doing really well. Jason Greaves, what up, Mr. Ballgame? We're gonna drop that link after we roll through this. We're gonna try and get through this, guys, pretty quickly, so we can drop the link for all y'all to jump on. Hopefully, Mr. Ballgame can too. But let's jump right into it, bro. Let's start off about Tua Time, okay? Because right now it's ridiculous. Like, I'm in the stance of, if they make the change this week, I get it. If they don't make the change this week, I'm fine with that, because I still think the ideal time is week 10 in terms of just best fit situation. Now, you never get the best fit situation in the NFL. That's why I use the word ideal. I don't say like, oh, this has got to be the time. I just say that's the ideal time. You know what I mean? Okay, the big topic right now is, okay, we know what we're going to get with Fitz. We're 1-3, people are still saying, we still in the hunt for that 7th spot. I'm telling these people, Tua ain't going to fix your flaws on both sides of the ball unless he's going to become your gap filler as your nose tackle, and he's going to give you safety play when Bobby McCain doesn't like he did this week, right? So, and he's not going to help Kyle Van Noy in the interior right now. You know what I mean? So unless he's going to play 4 positions, Tua's not going to make this team better. Now, could we get flashes, better throws, et cetera, et cetera? Could we have scored in the red zone when we were in the red zone? Bro, anything is possible in this world. Like I can tell you tomorrow pigs are going to fly out of my you-know-what, and they still could, even though it's highly unlikely, bro. You know what I mean? Just anything is possible in this world for the most part. So let's talk about Brian Flores today, bro. Because Brian Flores kind of added some let's say some fuel to the fire, bro. He said, Brian, it came out today around 2:00 that Brian Flores in his Zoom, he would not commit to Ryan Fitzpatrick as the Dolphins Week 5 starter. He said it will be discussed during meetings tonight, but then he went on to say a few interesting things. He said, I would assume it's going to be Fitzpatrick. That's one of his quotes. He said he does not look at how the Bengals and Rams are the Bengals and the Chargers are handling their quarterback situation when deciding how to handle theirs.
And he shouldn't.
Exactly. He said no one's going to pressure me into doing anything. He said we're a quarter of the way through the season now. We're going to do an evaluation of all positions to turn the season around. That's not good for you, Jerome Baker, if they get the same all 22 I did. And then Flores says on Tua, he said this is the thing. He said that really stuck out to me. EM, after he said he wouldn't commit. He said he's checked all of the boxes from a medical standpoint. The honest thing for me is if it was my kid and he had a serious injury like that, I wouldn't want a coach to be in a rush to put him in.
Sounds very similar to what we said in the beginning about, they want to get as close to that year mark of Tua being removed from that injury as possible. That's what I got from what he said. And when I've been consistent about that since day one. We were talking about this on Larry's panel earlier. Sure, Tua is healthy. Sure, he's ready. If we needed him to go, if Fitz went down and got hurt, Tua could go in there and perform his job, physically. But the smart play is number one, if Ryan Fitzpatrick, again, people have their own opinions about Ryan Fitzpatrick. I understand. Hang on. I got this helicopter. Hang on one second. This helicopter's going on my Hang on one second.
And guys, just to continue on here while EM deals with that, I just want to show you something just to further expand that came out in the Sun Sentinel today. From Adam B. The Miami Herald today. Pardon me. And basically, it said for the first time in weeks, Flores declined to commit to Ryan Fitzpatrick as his starter, saying instead, after a long pause and a bit of equivocating, added, "I would presume it's going to be Fitzpatrick." When asked about his pause and if that was a sign that Fitzpatrick's performance against the Seahawks put his job at risk, he replied, "The pause was, we haven't even gone through the corrections on the game. We're actually in the middle of that right now. It wasn't based off of anything in the game. I hope you guys don't take that the wrong way, but every week we come in Monday evening after we make all the corrections. Look, we're a quarter of the way through the season right now. We're obviously going to do an evaluation of our team from that standpoint, try to play the guys we feel are going to help us try to turn this thing around, play better in situations like red zone and 2 minute in the fourth quarter. That will be at all positions." And then Flores got to the crux of the matter. Are the Dolphins confident that Tua Tagovailoa's hip, now 11th month removed from major surgery, is ready for NFL football? And that's where he said what I just basically said. He's checked all the boxes from a medical standpoint. Look, the honest thing for me is if it was my kid and he had a serious injury like that, I wouldn't want his coach to throw him in there because of media pressure or anything like that. That's kind of how I approach the situation, and really all situations. With the players, they are my kids. So no one is going to pressure me into doing anything. If we feel like he's ready to go, we'll put him in.
Well, I think, again, we've been both consistent about this would be the approach with Tua. Number one, you have a competent you have a competent player in Ryan Fitzpatrick at that position. Maybe if Fitz was not in the equation, maybe, they would be, at that point, they would be forced to play Tua. But anyway, I think it was the reason why we haven't, it's three issues why I truly believe that we haven't seen Tua to this point.
Okay.
Obviously, number one, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick's his play up at even considering what we saw Sunday.
Especially
Ryan
week
Fitzpatrick,
3. Especially week 3.
exactly. He's giving you production at that position. Now, is he Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely not. But he's giving you quality production at that position. Number two, okay, I felt Tua, obviously, when you're comparing the two players, Tua is obviously the better athlete. He's the better, from a physical standpoint, he's a better player. But I don't think Tua has acclimated 100% in terms of NFL speed, playbook, et cetera, et cetera. That, in addition to the their error on the side of caution with his hip, because that's a catastrophic injury. That dude shouldn't even be walking right now. But he's not even a year removed from that injury, from sustaining that injury. So those three issues, I think, are the biggest issue why we haven't seen Tua Tagovailoa to this point. But, okay, I do truly feel that he's 100%. I think the coaching staff believes he's 100%. You don't cut, even though how I feel about Josh Rosen, you don't, release a player. You don't release Josh Rosen if you are having doubts that Tua is not up to speed physically.
I agree, 110%.
So with that being said,
and on top of that, let's add some more context at EM. You not only physically, but you don't get rid of Josh Rosen if you don't see leaps and strides in terms of picking up the offense, the playbook, the terminology, and the game speed from a practice standpoint with game speed, specifically more than where Rosen was in the developmental stage.
Exactly.
If they were really as close as some people claimed or wanted them to be, they wouldn't, especially under this current circumstance that you're seeing with COVID.
Rosen would be on the roster. Rosen would be on the roster right now.
Him being cut and Tua being elevated to the number 2 tells me that they were comfortable enough with Tua's grasping of the offense, the playbook, the terminology, and the game speed from a practice and scrimmage standpoint that they said Rosen has fallen too far behind. It's useless keeping him around right now.
Exactly.
Let him go develop somewhere else.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So I think what's going on, I think it's several things that are in play at this point. I think Tua is improving. I think he's getting more acclimated to the NFL game overall. Yeah. And we said this. Once Tua gets in training camp, number one, if he's healthy 100%, which he has been to this point, and once he gets in and he gets, accustomed to the playbook, to NFL game speed, to playing, getting more consistent reps with the number ones, Tua's natural talent will take over. We said this at the beginning of the year, even, on multiple streams. And I think
that's what happened in the scrimmages, bro. That's exactly
right. maybe. But
at least from what we saw in those clips.
Well, yeah. But at the end of the day, man, I think, at the end of the day, and I'm not laying all the blame at Ryan Fitzpatrick, obviously, but at the end of the day, you just can't. We talked about this last week. You just can't have turnovers, whether it's fair or unfair. The quarterback gets the blame, just like they get 100% of the credit. It's not fair, but it's the nature of the NFL, and I think that's what's going on. Brian Flores is just like, well, okay, we have this kid. He's improving. He's getting. The gap is closing in terms of the mental aspect of the game, and they're comfortable from a physical standpoint now that we're closer to that year mark, to that year mark that he sustained that injury.
Yeah.
So, we could. I think this is the game, though. To be honest with you, Reason, this is the game. That if number one, if we lose, no matter what Ryan Fitzpatrick does on Sunday, I said this earlier, he can throw 5 touchdowns for all I'm concerned. If we're losing, it's time to transition now. What Fitz is. You're 1-4 at this point. You have to get Tua out there and see what you have. Period. The only way you're gonna know that unless you play him on Sundays. Yeah. And we invested a top 5 pick. He's obviously our future. We just need to get him out there and see what we have in him. So
can I ask you something? I had this conversation on Twitter today, and I got into it with it. Well, not into it, but I was kind of like, educating this guy, bro. And we were talking about Tua, And, I told you about how my ideal time would be the Jets game, because then he's got the bye week to clean up any mistakes, and then he's coming off and getting the film room and really break down the film against the defense, because then he's coming off the bye so he can double prepare for a team and just get the confidence level up, because I truly think he can come out of that 2-0. But if, like you said, if they make the move this week, or if we lose and they make the move next week, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Because we're 1-3 right now. The season is a quarter of the way done. You're basically in the paddle. You just haven't started going up the creek without you're basically, you're in the boat. You're about to go up the creek. You know what I mean? And there's no paddle on board, right? You haven't left yet. You haven't detached from the dock, but a loss to San Francisco could very well do that. Anyways, let's say he gets us to, week 10. Let's say he wins this week. We come to week 10. You know what I mean? We end up, we're 3-6. So he does win a couple more games, but then he loses a couple, right? My whole argument was, this guy basically tried to come sideways with me on that. Oh, those are useless reps if you bring him in at week 8. Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. Who else did he name? He named up one other person. Patrick Mahomes. They all came in and impactful. I'm like, first of all, like totally different situations than what we're at right now. And like,
there's no such thing as useless reps.
Yes, bro. That's exactly what I said to this guy. I said, bro, talk to any player, talk to anyone who's played the game, talk to anyone who's coached the game. There is no such thing as a useless rep for any rookie, bro. Dude, you said it without me even having to say it, bro. And I basically got into it, and I said to him, okay, listen, if that was the case, why did Drew Lock start when they were 3-8? Why did Dwayne Haskins not finally take over till they were 1-7? You know what I mean? You want to see what you have before the draft. You're going to be picking high, bro.
Right.
God forbid if an injury happens, you know what I mean? Or God forbid if he just comes out and he's the worst thing you've ever seen in life, like a Tim Couch or Joey Harrington 2.0, then, this is a league where, EM, you've heard me say this so many times. This isn't what it was 15, 10, even now 5 years ago, bro. Josh Rosen was the beginning of it with Arizona. This is a what have you done for me lately league, and time is one thing that's on no one's side.
Yeah, I agree.
Prospect, coach, veteran, whatever. But few people get that pass, and the ones that do have earned it.
I agree.
So,
I don't get that. I don't know.
Useless rep, bro. I was like,
I don't understand that,
bro. Like, are you serious? Like,
please go talk to NFL. Go talk to NFL players. Try to sell that lemon to an NFL player, and see what response you get. I don't know what this guy was on, but man. At the end of the day, man. Yeah. I'm sorry, bro.
No, go ahead. At the end of the day.
No, I was gonna say, at the end of the day, this is the game. This is the game, and I hope, like I said, if we're not winning, there's no matter how well or no matter how well Fitzpatrick's playing, it's no point in keeping him out there if we're not winning. So it might be that time. We'll see. We'll see Sunday, man. It's gonna be a lot riding on that game, bro.
Yeah,
we're at a crossroads on multiple levels.
So let's get into the game that just was a little bit here. Bro, it's Monday night, 10:24, and I still don't understand how this was a first down in the fourth quarter, bro.
I know, right?
Someone want to tell me that? Anyone out there got an explanation of how that's a first down?
Well,
because I don't see it.
Yeah, and also, why didn't Flores challenge that play where they hit Fitz with that, where he converted that first down, but they were saying he was over the he had made the pass when he was over the line of scrimmage. Oh man, it was. I thought that was a momentum. I'm sure we'll get into that at some point, but I'm just saying, I'm still stewing over that one. That I can't get that out of my mind. I can pretty much take everything else that transpired Sunday, but that one was just a momentum killer. You know what I mean? So, but it's what it is. It's what it is. There's several questionable calls, or challenge, or on his staff. It was several questionable. And again, I hate to keep saying this, but it's just a lot of issues, man, that are starting to stack up with the staff. In Brian Flores, I'm looking at you, man, with those eye emojis, homie. But it's still early, Reason. It's still early. It's still
Hey,
early.
man, when I was asked on another platform what my evaluation was and my grade was for Brian Flores after last year, I said there, and I'll say here, I didn't really give him a grade after year one. I said I was really going to start evaluating him after year two. So that means year one, the first 2 years, first year I was purely watching. Second, trying to pick up tendencies. Second year, I'm seeing certain tendencies have stuck around. Some not as long, like some issues like stubbornness. Some, some players he's not stubborn with. Some players he is stubborn with. Just and then some personnel decisions have really, and like I said, I really hope for those first, couple games he wasn't calling our defense, or we might have an issue here, bro. But other than that, I'll give a fair evaluation of him year two. And just the issue for me is, and when I talked about not having time and stuff, bro, if we end up winning 3 or 4 games, don't be surprised if your boy Reason is calling for Flores. And guys, I want you to understand why I would be so irrational, as some may want to try and call me. I'm not trying to give him, and I'm not saying he will. I'm not trying to give any coach who I just gave all that financial and draft capital to, and then comes out and has a worse season than he did the year before when he had bare bones. And now I'm going to basically give him the exact same capital, at least draft-wise, that I gave him the year before. I just can't risk that, man.
And Reason, that's the biggest issue. That is why, maybe in a different, situation, I would be more inclined to give him a pass. But just for that, I mean, he's been given the keys to the kingdom.
Twice over, bro. Twice over.
Everything he was given is unprecedented. We've never seen it. And when will we ever see our team in a position like with the abundance, the surplus of resources on all levels? When will we ever be in a situation like this again? And again, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, bro, they're just, with me personally, they're just starting to stack up. And I'm telling you, I mean, if we're sitting here, bro, in next year's draft, sitting with a top 5 pick, oh, man, I'm telling you, that honeymoon is over. I'm gonna be so I'm number one, I'm gonna be so sick that, man, the investments you made in free agency and the draft, and oh man, I mean, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but damn, I'm just saying, questionable is on multiple levels now, starting to stack up. So
yeah, like my thing when you asked about Bill O'Brien, the first thing that popped into my head was, man, I wish Bill O'Brien was a defensive mastermind, because I just have him come in here and I'd be hey, Josh, hey, guess what, buddy? Hey, you know what you're going to be? I would demote, well, you could look at it as a demotion, but it'd more be of a move sideways where I would be. I know Bill, and this is Bill O'Brien's an offensive mind, guys. I just talk about if he was in a defensive mind sense. All I would do is I would do a sideways shift in terms of Josh Boyer would basically become the special assistant offensive coordinator, and I would just be like, because I know Bill O'Brien would only be here for probably 2 years, and then he'd get a new job somewhere, right? And then,
but I would even bring him in on. I mean, it's not like we don't need him on the offensive side of the football. You know what I mean?
Hey, like I said earlier, he helped Watt's development. He kept that trajectory moving upwards from Clemson, bro. And bro, again, objectively, obviously I think he's trash as a GM. But, bro, I don't think you're wrong, bro.
I think Bill O'Brien is an excellent coach. I know a lot of people don't feel that way, and they're killing him in
It's a
on
GM.
all these
Him for his GM.
on these. But he's been in the playoffs the last 4 years.
Yeah.
He found his franchise quarterback. He's developed him successfully to this point. I mean, what more do you want from a coach? I mean, damn, everybody can be Bill Belichick. I would take that record, and I would take that track record in Miami in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me?
You want to hear something?
I don't get all the hate, bro.
Really send it through Dolphins community right now. When you compare Adam Gase and Brian Flores, Adam Gase in his first 20 games with the New York Jets, 7-13. Brian Flores in his first 20 games with the Miami Dolphins, he's 6-14.
It's early, Fins Nation, so we're clear. We're not calling for Brian Flores to be fired at this point. We're not trying to. We're not trying to get on. We're not trying to get on that bus at this point. But we're just telling you.
I'm warning everyone. If he wins less than 5 games with everything we gave him and with all the capital we have coming up in the offseason, it is a discussion that needs to be had. Legitimately.
It needs to be had, and you can rest assured we will have it on this platform.
Because let me be honest with you, bro. Can I be honest with you, bro? That defense, if that defense was better in the first 3 weeks, we could literally be sitting here 3-1.
And that's his side of the football.
That's what he was hired for, is a defensive mind, bro. Like,
that's his side.
Remember how much we heard about he was calling the game in Super Bowl? We kept hearing about that. So now I love the guy. I hope, I'll tell everyone this. Now let me follow everything of this. Since Tony Sperano, Brian Flores is the most I've been invested in coach. So I'm praying, I'm hoping for the best with Brian Flores. I take pride in having an African-American coach and staff that are more than competent and that hopefully can build this team into a consistent winner. That would be one of the proudest moments of being a Dolphin fan in my 30-plus years of being a Dolphin fan. So I want everyone to understand that. The fact of the matter is the treasure trove of assets we have, and if we get more with less wins than what we had last year, that is something troubling, especially if me and EM continue to see tendencies that are leaking over from year 1 into year 2.
Yeah, and for that, again, so we're clear. I love everything Brian Flores stands for as a man.
Yeah, I love Brian Flores.
His leadership qualities, are ideal. But at the end of the day, it's about wins and losses in his league. You know what I mean? I'm loyal. My loyalty,
bro. It's what have you done?
My loyalty is and will always lie with the logo. So I love, I can love you as a person, you know what I mean? But I just don't want you as my head coach. It's about wins and losses, period. So get it, you just got to get it done, or we're gonna get somebody else in here that will. Period. So it's what it is, man. It's what it is.
And this is another reason why I didn't, how I was about Josh Boyer. The issue I had with bringing in a rookie coach was upgrading a rookie coach who, obviously did what he did with that secondary last year, was all the new moving pieces we were going to have on that defense in terms of rookies and guys who are new to the system, not a Van Noy, but more of like an Ogba. Well, even the Landon Roberts looks like he's new to the system. Even a Byron Jones, et cetera, et cetera. Like, adding in a rookie, defensive coordinator with all those moving pieces, now you're in a process of, how long is it going to take him to learn? And do we have the time to wait around for how long it's going to take for him to get a rhythm? Because the one thing you have noticed, especially in our losses, we've always been a step and a half behind in the play calling.
Yeah, and in game.
You can tell his ability to call this defense in terms of it consistently in a rhythm, or just to have the foresight with the play call that is about to make isn't there yet, right?
And that's why he hit the reset button with his staff last year. At least that's what he told the world. That's the explanation of what he told us.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but again,
there you go. That's what Daniel says. If Patricia gets released from the Lions, we better let Boyer go and bring him on because I'm sure he already knows the system Flo is trying to implement.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Oh, absolutely.
Me and EM have had
I'm all over that. I'm all over that.
We've had it.
Patricia to Boyer. Oh, that there's nothing to talk about there. There's nothing to talk about there. So,
yeah. Yo, can I be honest with you guys? An addition of, if the defense continues to be a problem somewhat, an addition of Patricia, if he gets lost, could be the thing that saves Flores for another season to get it right in terms of the win-loss record.
Because if at the end of the day, we're losing because of our defense. The reason why we're 1-3 right now is because of our I know people want to hate on Fitz and say that he's not. And again, Fitz hadn't been perfect, and he needs to improve. But I will give
our defense, even in the loss yesterday. The last 2 weeks they've looked better. Even in the loss yesterday, they kept betting, but they wouldn't break. But we kept putting them back out there, bro.
But you know what? But here's the thing, reason.
Interior it's though, the interior on the front ain't getting any better.
It's the catastrophic plays that are killing us, bro.
Yeah, the big plays. Like I said,
the game-altering plays was killing us.
You know what we're doing, EM? We consistently we allow 3 or 4 big plays in the game, but some games we don't even get one. Mm-hmm. And like you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. Like if you're gonna allow plays but not get them yourselves, you're not gonna win.
I agree. You can't win that way.
That's almost like that's the offensive way of losing the turnover battle.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So hopefully, man, hopefully we get this thing turned around, and and it's still early, and I'm invested like you, bro. When we hired him and everything he represents, and on the field and off the field. I mean, man, can you think about we talked about this privately, but you look at the structure of our organization from top to bottom, the African American the African American influence. Can you imagine if they get this? And this is bigger than football. This is much bigger than the Miami Dolphins. But can you imagine, considering the current structure of our organization, if they turn this around and turn this thing into a renter, how that would just change the perception that has been prevalent throughout this league.
Eric Bieniemy would get a job, that's for sure.
You know what I mean? We are in 2020 and things have gotten better, but I feel, there's still a lot of individuals, particular owners, that harbor a lot of that old school mentality.
Yeah, you're talking about the cultural pressure of the game and the NFL itself, right?
Yeah. And that perception out there that, blacks cannot perform, they don't have the aptitude of their counterparts, which is ridiculous. So again, on so many levels.
Remember that was the theme with the quarterback's position, remember?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, on so many levels, what our organization, the structure of our organization represents is so much bigger than football. So that's why another reason why I'm pulling for him and Chris Greer, Marvin Allen, Reggie McKenzie's of the world. Not just the black coaches, but I mean that's just the current structure of our organization.
Yeah.
It's so much bigger than football, and so that's another reason why I'm pulling for him. So
yeah. All right, bro. So let's get into before we get into the box score and then the PFF grades and some next gen stats, and then open it up to the subscribers. Let's go over the play time, the snap count percentage here for a sec. Okay, so Flowers, Jesse Davis, Ted Karras, and Solomon Kinley, they all played 100% of the snaps. Obviously, Austin Jackson is on that list because of that ankle injury that we haven't really heard a big update on yet. Devontae Parker played about 80% of the snaps. Myles Gaskin played 65%. He was your highest running back, as Breda only played 24. Howard played 11. And then Mike Gesicki and Isaiah Ford played about 63%. Preston played about 61%, so way lower than Devontae Parker. Durham Smythe saw about 41%. Jakeem Grant saw about 39%. Adam Shaheen saw about 28%. Chandler Cox about 11%. And then we go over to the defensive side of the football. There was a 63 total snaps, bro. And I want you to pay attention to someone who didn't play his usual big percentage, bro. So Noah Benogany played all 63 snaps, as did Kyle Van Noy and Xavier Howard. Eric Rowe played about 79%. Emmanuel Ogba played 76% of the snaps. Lawson played 75%. Wilkins played 70%. And Jerome Baker only played about 70% of the snaps. And this is a guy who everyone used to brag about how he played 99% of the snaps. Well, that's 2 weeks in a row where he's had a little bit of a decrease, and he's been in the 70 to 80 range instead of hitting that high 90s. Now you're seeing Kyle Van Noy's taking on that role, just like we said. Nick Needham played about 70%, Bobby McCain 63, because remember he got hurt when he laid that lumber on that big hit. Godchop played about 57. Roberts played 51%. Seiler played 41%. Perry played 37. Gruger Hill played 37. Brandon Jones played 30%. Raekwon Davis played 30%, so he's now seeing about a third of the game action. Van Ginkel played 16%. And then the rest, in terms of Fledgelum, Egwavine, Laird, and Sanders, obviously saw most of their time on special teams. So, bro, that snap percentage, I do want to see it increase for Gesicki. I think there's no reason why he shouldn't be on the field. His blocking has improved. The All-22 did come out for the game today, and I've watched a little bit of it. Again, like I saw live during the broadcast, his blocking has improved this year, bro. In the pass and run game and pass run sets.
I would agree.
You know, Durham Smythe, 41% compared to where he was last year. You're seeing it grow a little bit. Adam Shaheen's still getting almost about a third, just under a third of the snaps too. So that shows you how much they were using 3 tight end sets, right? Your boy Matt Collins only saw about 3%, which I know you want to see an increase of. And, considering the set
absolutely
separation we're getting, I think, I'm not opposed to trying it. Lynn Bowden, I said this yesterday. Let's get some more Wildcat in there, bro. They gained 5 yards off the first attempt, and all of a sudden, they threw that wrinkle out the window. Let's go. Especially when we were sitting there on 3rd and 3, and they ran it with Gaskin, and we got stuff. Bring out the Wildcat on 3rd and 3, bro.
I agree.
That 3rd and 4 pass that I didn't like from Fitzpatrick before Russell Wilson got the ball back, where he challenged the defense a little bit downfield to Isaiah Ford when it looked like he was bracketed. Why make that throw again? Bring out the wild card. You got under a minute left. Let's go, right? Like, put ourselves in a position to score. Like, in those situations, use your wrinkles. Like, why not, man? You're in a position to win that ball game. So
I agree 100%. Especially considering, we had a high level of success when we did. With that Wildcat implementation, and I was like, well, okay. When I saw them bring, implement that wrinkle, I was like, okay. But then, there's no consistency, not just with the Wildcat, but just overall in general. When they have success with, when they get a little creative, I'm finding a trend on tape. They'll implement, a wrinkle and have a high level of success with it, then they'll just go away from it.
Back from it. Like,
you know what I mean? I'm just like, man, come on. I'm not
success they're having with the running game. They took it, bro. I know you went back and watched the game. Now you watch the full thing. Why are you taking the ball out of Breda's hand in the 3rd quarter and implementing Howard in the game when he's cold and hot hand? And then you just get, he's getting stuffed so bad, you got to keep him in because they know he's a run situational guy.
Right.
And you got to keep him in the shotgun situations to try and keep them honest on Jordan Howard, bro, because you're passing the ball. You got to show them, hey, I can pass with him in here too. And then they pass him the ball, and he gets absolutely blown up by KJ Wright, bro. He got sent back in 1985 in a DeLorean.
He, that when they inserted him, when they opted to, to get him some reps, that just was a momentum killer for me. It's like, bro, it's like the life was sucked out of the entire every player on the offense, bro.
Bro. There's no
man.
There's no acceleration when he gets going, and there's no burst or explosiveness in his initial step, bro. Like, it's just, what are we doing here with this?
I don't know what's going. I don't know what's. I don't know what's going on with Jordan Howard, bro. I don't know if it's health. I don't know. He just looks like a shell of the player that we had seen since he's been in the NFL. I mean, an absolute shell, mentally and physically. It's like he's shy. It's like he's scared to get hit. It's like he's bracing for contact before the contact gets there. You know what I mean? As opposed to looking to deliver the contact like Myles Gaskin or Breida. And you can't have that as a running back. That was one of the biggest issues with Kalen Ballage.
You know what I mean? As a running back.
He looks worse than Kalen Ballage right now. Oh, absolutely worse. So we need to scrap. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully it works out for him. Maybe he has some personal issues. I have no clue. But at the end of the day, bro, you're paid to do a job. You're not doing your job. Get somebody else in there that will. And they need to scrap that. We just need to take the L on this one and chalk this one up to the game. We missed on him. It happens in the NFL. We missed on our evaluation him as a player of what he could bring to the Miami Dolphins, and we need to just quickly move away from it because I don't want to see him on the field at any point for the rest of the season under any circumstances.
Agreed. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Let's go in, guys. Let's just go over the box score. And I got a couple little tidbits for you guys to take away from this week. So we look at the box score here. There's some good, there's some bad, obviously. So, we gave up a total of 441 yards, but we gained a total of 415. We had 312 passing yards. They had 343 once you include the sacks that were taken. Rushing yards, we had 103 rushing yards. We held them to only 98. And Chris Carson had over 80 of that. So that, like I said, when I know you went back and watched it, but like I said, when Travis Homer was in there, when anyone else was in there, they were getting shut down. Carson was the only one who was giving us an issue. And that was because if you watch him, he's such a patient runner, EM.
Yeah, he is.
When you watch the delay in his step, he waits for the gap, even just a smidget to open, and he's gone. And and for a big guy, he gets through little gaps.
And at the end of the day, he's just a better player. You know what I mean? He's just a better player at the end of the day. But, our running, those statistics in terms of our yardage total is very misleading because it's a damn shame Ryan Fitzpatrick is leading his team in rushing yet again, bro.
We got away from it big time. Breida looked like he was going to have a decent game where he's going to put up 70 or 80, and they just got away from him.
It's ridiculous.
So anyways, when you go to the first downs, they only had one more first down than us, EM. They had 26, we had 25. We were way more efficient on third down. We were 7 of 13. And if people remember, we were tied for, I believe it was 14th in the NFL coming into this game on third down efficiency. So fantastic. They were only 4 of 10 on third down, EM. So obviously you can also tell they got less third downs as well, which is what I said would be a key to driving the football. We had 68 total plays. They had 62. They had 2 allowed sacks. We only allowed 1. And then speaking of that, when you look at this team right now, EM, the interior of offensive line, when we're talking about Flowers, Karras, and Solomon Kinley, they've only allowed 12 total pressures so far in 4 games. So that is a very, very that's very, very good considering where we were last year. But just continuing on here, they didn't take a single penalty because we declined them, right? We had an offsetting one as well. We ended up with 3 penalties for 20 yards, no fumbles. We lost the turnover battle because we had 2 interceptions. They have 1, and they completed one of our keys, EM. They won the time of possession, 33 minutes and 9 seconds to 26-51, and maybe that's why we only lost by 8. And really, until things started getting away on us a little bit there, we were in that ball game and we had a chance to take the lead multiple times, right?
No,
so
absolutely.
We just couldn't punch it in the red zone, right? So when you look at this team, EM, and when you go over those statistics, there are some good things to take away from there.
Absolutely.
On when we were talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick earlier, just to give you guys a couple updates right now. So we're right now currently sitting at 1-3. So our 3 losses right now are of an average of 7 points per game, guys. Last year, Miami's first 3 losses in 2019 were by an average of 39 points per game.
And against 3 playoff teams.
Yep. And then
against 3 playoff teams.
Exactly. And continuing on here right now, the Dolphins, what just expanding on what EM just said, the Dolphins are 3-1 guys with a minus 3-point differential, meaning they've had 3 more points scored on them than they've scored. And having played teams that are a combined record right now, all the teams we've played are a combined record of 11-4. Okay. And this is the way the NFL is. The Browns are currently 3-1 with a minus 2-point differential. And that's because they've played teams that are a combined 6-9-1. So that right there shows you just the difference of the NFL. Going off with the box score we gave you guys, some more things for you guys to really, hold your head up about. Miami right now is top 10 in both passing and rushing first downs, and 7th in the NFL in total first downs. So we're moving the football, guys. Like EM said earlier, if the defense was shored up a little bit better, this team could very well be 3-1, guys. And then when you go to an individual stat right now, so Ryan Fitzpatrick on the season has completed 69% of his passes. He's thrown for 994 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's averaging 7 yards per attempt with 5 interceptions, and he has an 83.5 passer rating. Devontae Parker, guys, he leads all NFL players with 1,280 receiving yards dating all the way back to week 7 of last year, which encompasses 16 total games. So that's a full season worth of games. Devontae Parker is leading the NFL with 1,280 yards. So that's a 1,280-yard season over 16 games, basically. And then just continue on. Here's the thing about Xavier Howard, who had another pick on Sunday. You're starting to stack them up, EM. So Xavier Howard has 14 interceptions over the last 26 games, and he leads the league in picks during that time, dating all the way back to December 2017. So, I mean, some good stuff going on right now, guys, in terms of the rebuild and coming out of that Seattle game, even under the loss.
Yeah, and like I stated earlier, when you're evaluating the perspective you need to take, a macro perspective in your evaluation process. It's so many things that goes into that. Obviously it's the film, but analytics, eye test, et cetera, et cetera. You have to take, when you're evaluating, you have to take all of these things into account. I was saying that earlier, people are just so quick to, without watching, number one, which is the most important thing, watching the film, they're so quick. They look at the stat line and they look at, Fitz. Oh, he threw interceptions. He's trash. He's this, he's that. Oh, we want to see Tua. No. Okay. Context is everything in an NFL. And when you're evaluating him, and I get it, I understand, I want to see Tua like everyone else. But at the end of the day, when you look at the numbers, the offense is not the problem for this 2020 version of Miami Dolphins to this point.
And did you notice
it's not?
Did you notice when I went back and I watched some of the All 22 today? Did you notice on some of his errant throws, on his bad decisions, you could clearly tell the pressure led him to the decision.
Yeah,
there were times where he was facing duress, and you could tell it just pressured him into making a decision, which ended up being poor. And that's why he missed Jakeem Grant a few times when he was wide open again. That's why he was missing some of his underneath routes when I went back and watched, because he's locking in on guys because he's feeling the pressure at times. Let's look at the next gen stats of him just to kind of back us up, bro. If you look at it right now, the time to throw, the lowest in week 4 was Kyler Murray at about 2.42 seconds. Ryan Fitzpatrick, bro. Oh, sorry, my bad. Ryan Fitzpatrick had the 6th shortest time to throw in the NFL. He had 2.5 seconds, and the shortest was 2.39. So 2.5 is still good. I'm not going to take that away. That's still good. You can tell that there were certain times where he was pushing the ball. And the one thing I did like about this week, bro, his aggression rate in terms of tight window throws, like defenders within 1 yard, it was down to 11.1% this week. And if everyone remembers, against the New England Patriots, it was up in the 40s. Right. So you're seeing that tells you right now separation is coming a little bit more right now for our team and for offense, because like we noticed in the Jaguars game, they've started to open up the playbook a little bit more. Right.
But you got to look at as well, you know, the Seahawks, they run a lot of zone anyway. They're a zone-based team anyway. So I think that's somewhat a little misleading when you're comparing them this game to the New England game. But at the end of the day, you know, we're sitting here 1-3, and I'm frustrated just like everyone else. But there's a lot of things that when I look at, there's a lot of things that I think that will be sustainable that we can take, you know, to the next game and, you know, the game after that, et cetera, et cetera. So there's some things I feel offensively that is sustainable, but I just, you know, the lack of consistency in the play calling in critical situations during the game, more than anything, is just coming back to kill us, bro. And the breakdowns mentally on the defensive side of the football, man, that's what's killing us. The offense is not the problem. The offense is not the problem. So hopefully they get it corrected and we can get this thing moving, start building some momentum. This is the week, though. This is the week. If we lose, no matter what the offense does, they can put up, you know, 45 points. If we lose 47-45, it's time to scrap plan A and move to plan B. Quickly move to plan B.
All right, guys, we got 121 in the room. We're about to get into the PFF grades with you guys, go over the offense and the defense. And then we're going to drop the link to this stream, to the StreamYard, for all you guys who want to hop on and vent about the game, talk about the Tua situation, whatever. We're going to give you all some time to hop on here. But before we get to that, I want to shout out, I want to do a few things, guys. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you have not. Let's get to 1,400. We're at 1,370 right now. Let's get up there. Smash that like button. It helps us out, guys. If you want to do more than help us out by smashing the like button, you can donate to the channel at paypal.me/Phinside. You can also donate through the super chat right now if you would like. If you want to become a Phinside the NFL Patreon, guys, go ahead, Phinside, patreon.com/Phinside the NFL. We got different tiers. We got a $5 tier, a $10 tier, a $15 tier, and they all have different advantages. So if you sign up, utilize them. A lot of people who have signed up aren't, and we appreciate y'all for signing up, but they're there for all y'all to utilize. Go ahead. So shout out to our 13 patrons right now: Infinite Trauma, Rhino Sith, Fake Spike, Shake Money, Joe
Shake.
KA all day, Seth, Mr. Two Bits, Miguel Angel Hernandez, Slim Pickin, Ramon Castillas, Big Time, and Red Dino. We appreciate each and every one.
Shout out to all of those gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Again, guys, smash that like button. It helps us out more than you think. Smash it. All right, let's keep it rolling here. We're going to get into the PFF grades for both sides of the ball. Then we're going to drop the link and open it up for you guys. You know what? I'll drop the link right now. If guys want to stack up in the back, I'll knock it out, and I'll drop it again when we finish. But here's the link for y'all. If you want to start stacking up in the back, it's up to you. All right, let's keep it rolling, bro. Let's go into the PFF grades, man. So let's you want to start with the offense or the defense, Ian?
It don't matter, bro.
Pick your poison, bro. Pick your poison.
Let's go with you know what side I'm always leaning on, bro.
So, guys, when you see this, the asterisk next to a name means they were the starter. That's why you don't see an asterisk next to Jerome Baker's name. What a throw by Aaron Rodgers. All right, guys. So, Bob, not only did his snap count get cut back, he's not even starting, guys. All right, so Bobby McCain was your highest graded Dolphin. He actually did have his best game of the season. I won't deny that. He was very, very,
that's the best game.
And he was loving the contact, even though it seems his body ain't built for it.
Sunday. I meant to tell you this earlier, but when I went back and watched the game, Bobby McCain played his best game at safety for the Miami. That, in my opinion, that he's ever played.
I agree, 110%. So he had an 88 overall defensive grade. Jamal Perry came with a 70.4. Seiler had a 68.6. Manuel Ogba had a 67.7. Brandon Jones had a 66.7, once again being up there in the top 10 range on our team on defense and grades wise. Christian Wilkins had kind of wasn't that great of a game. He had he had 2 run stops, he had 2 tackles, and he had 1 hurry. But I know people are expecting a lot more from him, right? Where you got a guy like Zach Seiler who's coming out here and he's adding 5 hurries, brother. Like, you love to see it. Zach Seiler has been, I'll say this, guys, again, I piggybacked off him, but I'll throw my name in the situation. Me and EM were right about Zach Seiler as well. Anyways, continuing on here, Milberger Hill had a 62.2. Xavier Howard had a 61.2. Devon Godchuk, 57.5. Shaq had a 57.2, even with the sack. Andrew Van Ginkel had a 51.8. He did struggle, Van Ginkel, at times yesterday. Calvin Noy, who did, again, he wasn't as good as he was in the Jaguars game or the week before in Buffalo. I'll give him that. Nick Needham, I thought he was better than the last 2 weeks. Raekwon Davis, because he had a 50.4. Raekwon Davis had a 44.4. Eric Rowe had a 40.5. And the one thing I want to say about Eric Rowe's play, after switching to safety in 2019, Eric Rowe limited opposing pass catchers to about 5.04 yards per target. Through 4 games in 2020, he's back in that neighborhood at about 5.33 yards per target. A receiver averaging 5.3 yards per target, would rank 133rd in the NFL this season.
I don't get this, I mean, I don't know what goes into their
grading. What every week. There's some we agree with and some we don't.
Yeah, man.
Let me just finish it out here. Let me just get on with that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Jerome Baker, obviously, again, another grade of 30. Overall, he was a 28.4 tackling grade.
I know why he got his. I know why he gets his.
Yeah, because,
I don't need PFF for that
when you only get one
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When you get as many missed tackles as you do tackles and assists, you're probably gonna get a bad grade tackling. Noah Benogany struggled again with them. I didn't see him struggling this bad yesterday. I did see him struggle at times, like we said, for sure. But overall, his game, let me put it this way. He got burnt a few times pretty badly, especially for touchdowns. But overall, his game was not as bad as he was against the Falcons.
I agree with that. He just made, when he got beat, it was just catastrophic.
Yeah, it was catastrophic errors he made. So that's why his grade is so low. So, again, I get that. Elandon Roberts, again, graded out as your worst defender on the Miami Dolphins.
I didn't see that reason. I
thought Jerome Baker.
This is puzzling to me.
Yeah.
This is puzzling to me.
I thought Andrew Ginkel struggled at times more than Landon Roberts did, but that's just me.
I agree.
All right, guys, let's keep it moving. Let's go into the offense. EM, you got any final thoughts actually on that before we get out of there? Because I know you want to say something there, bro.
Yeah, I just see. I mean, again, that's why I don't consider PFF the gospel. I disagree with evaluations. but from what
that's fine. But it doesn't. Then
I agree. But no, I just was, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I just, from what I see on tape, I mean, I just don't get especially the Orlando Sunday now. The Orlando Roberts evaluation.
I would say that was his best game as a Miami Dolphin.
I agree, man. I don't get it. I do not get it. But again, I'm just a fan, period. So it's all good. It's all good.
So here we go, bro. So in terms of offensive grades, so Devontae Parker was your highest graded offensive player. He had a 79.9. Ted Karras was your second highest with a 74.4. Jakeem Grant had a 74. Julian Davenport was your fourth highest with a 72.2 and an 85.6 in the pass blocking grade. Wow. Solomon McKinley was your fifth best and your highest Rookie offensive line graded player at a 69.2 and a 79.4 in pass blocking. Isaiah Ford was a 65.5. Smythe was a 64.6. He was a 72.5 in pass blocking, but a horrid 46.6 in run blocking. Eric Flowers was a 64.5. Lynn Bowden, for his limited 4 total snaps, they gave him a 64.2. Gaskin was a 63, and he was a starter, as usual, the past couple of games. Matt Breida managed a 62, which I thought he had a better game than Gaskin, so I got to see the grading on that. And I do agree with that pass blocking grade because when I went back, there was a few blown assignments by Myles Gaskin in the pass blocking game that led to pressure on Fitzpatrick. Preston Williams, he had 61.4. Fitzpatrick managed a 60.5. He had an 84 run grade EM. Gesicki had 59.8. Shaheen 59.5. Austin Jackson, before he went out, managed a 59.3. Robert Hunt was a 58.8. Jesse Davis was a 58.7. Chandler Cox was a 58.4. Matt Collins was a 54. Jordan Howard trying to do his best Jerome Baker impression on offense with a 32.5 overall grade, only 2.5 higher than Jerome Baker. There's a couple in there that I'll say that are spot on, and again, there's a couple in there that I don't agree with. Specifically, I will say, Gaskin and Breida to me should be flipped. Let's start there. I really don't have. I think Austin Jackson played a better game than what they're showing. So I know Jesse Davis.
You know what? The reason I thought what jumped out to me, even not just the PFF grades, but the tape. I thought Julian, and I get it's a small sample size, but he looks like a different player.
Bro, his body looks different.
Yeah, exactly.
His body looks.
Yeah, bro. Remember how pudgy he looked last year?
Yeah.
I mean, and I remember
he's got the long sleeve on and he's leaned out.
Yeah.
He's like a big boy, somebody you don't want to miss.
I remember Flores talked about him early on in training camp. He talked about how the improvement they were seeing from him. Now, I know there's a lot of beat writers that came out with a lot of reports about him getting beat up and, whatever. But obviously the coaching staff saw something in him to keep him on the roster because they could have easily just cut bait with him. But I'm telling you, man, he looks like a different player. Now, again, it is a small sample size, but we remember how horrible he was last year. But he looks like a different player. So, I don't know, man.
Back it up. Let's show you why he had such a high grade.
Exactly.
Let's go into the blocking and the allowed pressures right here for a sec before we got people stacking up, guys. Get backstage right now if you want to come on. We've got a couple of people backstage already because after we go over this, we're going to get in to bring you guys on. So let's go over this right here. So Julian Davenport had a total of 25 snaps, 20 in the pass block, 5 in run block. He allowed zeros across the board. Solomon McKinley, he had 54 pass blocking snaps, zeros across the board. Eric Flowers had 54 pass blocking snaps, only allowed 1 hurry and 1 pressure. And, of course, he took that penalty that killed that drive. Ted Karras only allowed 1 hit, 1 pressure on 71 snaps. Durham Smythe, he ended up having 4 zeros across the board. You know what I mean? The pressures and the hurries. Jesse Davis had 6 hurries and 6 pressures, and Austin Jackson had his worst game of the season, even though it wasn't that bad, I thought at times. He allowed 2 hits, 3 hurries, and 5 pressures. And then Myles Gaskin allowed that pressure on that blown assignment I talked about earlier. But most of that pressure was coming off the edges. And again, Jesse Davis was struggling once more. It continues to be that weak link. It continues to further my point that if you got a top 3 pick, Penei Sewell isn't that bad of a move, especially if your other pick is around 10 and you can come back and double up with Parsons. So,
I know we've been talking about, the conversation about, pulling Fitz and inserting Tua Tagovailoa. That's been the hot topic, but is it time to to end the Jesse Davis as a starter experiment and insert Robert Hunt?
Before we get into the guys backstage, let's talk about this quickly. So this has been something that came up today on social media. Because I've been, people brought up with the whole Panay Sewell thing when I said, my whole thing is, this is why I draft Panay Sewell. I draft Panay Sewell because, to me, he's not only the best tackle prospect, he's arguably the best player I've seen in the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. And so I shift him to the right. And people, I see, here's the thing, Em. People seem to be forgetting we're going to be needing a guard in a year if we shift Robert Hunt to tackle, because Eric Flowers only has 1 year left. So you can kick Kinley back to his natural position.
This is true.
Left guard, kick Robert Hunt into right guard. You draft Panay Sewell, you slide it to the right. That's your protection for Tua's blind side. Keep Austin Jackson growing and developing where he is right now. And now all you need is a center, bro, and you're legit. And all of a sudden, you're legit. Because here's what I've been telling people. People are talking about, top 5 pick, draft a wide receiver. Here's my thing with Panay Sewell too. Give me the Colts or the Las Vegas Raiders offensive line and Tua and build outward from that. That's where I'm at. If I'm going to drop a ton of money on offensive players not be named Tagovailoa, they're going to be on my offensive line, boys. And if one receiver happens to pop through, okay, I'll pay him. Or if I get a transcendent running back, okay, I'll pay him instead of the receiver. But only one of those two that get paid. And you know what I do? I use free agency, I use the UDFA pool, and I use the fact that if I draft a guy in the second round or even from beyond next year in the first, I get 4 years, and if they're in the first, I get a 5th-year option. So I get a cheap contract for 5 years. And that's what you do. Listen, look at what they just did. I keep going. You know how high I was on Lucas Niang. Okay? Mm-hmm. Can you agree with me? The Chiefs have one of the best right tackles in the game in Mitchell Schwartz.
Absolutely.
Right? He's about to come up and get paid. What did they do, EM? They drafted Lucas Niang. They said, because we're not going to be able to pay him.
Yep. This is true.
That's what good. You use the draft to fill positions that you can't pay with high quality capital. So now you've got 4 or 5 years to figure out and let the pieces fall in place in terms of other people who are getting paid could get injured or could retire, and then that cap opens up and now can get allocated, et cetera, bro. So that's where I'm at, bro. Spend the money on the quarterback, the offensive line, and one of two, either a transcendent receiver and a transcendent running back, and then use your, play the free agency game properly and play the UDFA pool properly and use draft capital. Because here's the thing. Look at a team like the Chiefs, bro. They're so well built that they could afford to take a running back like Clyde Edwards-Helaire at the end of the first round, because that's all they were really missing was a dynamic on that offense, was a dynamic playmaker on the back end, because they put their defense in a position where it can win Super Bowls. So now they're at a luxury where, okay, well, now we can start filling in, right? So,
absolutely. I definitely, I love Sewell as a player as well, but where I'm, what my opinion is in terms of selecting him that high. Yeah. It all depends on if a team is willing to give us a king's rent, and that's just not relative to him. That's any player, any one player, not outside the quarterback position. I'm entertaining trade offers. I don't care if we were a quarterback needy team, it would be a different conversation. But every other position, I'm entertaining a trade.
Can I tell you this too? If the only offer I have, if I have the number 1 pick and the Jets are number 2 and I have no offers on the table, I seriously consider drafting Trevor Lawrence to just keep him out of New York. And then I move off of him.
Trade him.
And then I move off of him in some other capacity. So I mean,
I hear you.
So Havoc, what's good?
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, homie? Long time no see.
Finals week, bro. You know what I mean?
Understand.
Finals week.
I understand.
Got to get it in. Straight A's though. So we
understand.
We out here like Joe Carter knocking it out the park. It's all good.
This guy
I hear you.
Carter reference.
Rhino Sith. What's good, fam?
World Series. What's
Hey,
good,
Reason,
Ryan?
just so you know, your internet is kind of
Yeah, you lagging a little bit right now, Reason.
yeah. Just so you know, the last 10 minutes.
Oh, that's why. Hold on. Give me a sec. I got two guys in the back that I'm about to bring on. Let me switch to 5G.
All right. How y'all doing today, man?
Not as good as you, Mr. Education.
I know, right? Straight
Bro.
A's. That's what's up.
Trying, man. You know what I mean?
Very
That's the name of the
Hey.
game. You know what I mean? You get out what you put in. That's the name of the game.
Absolutely.
So
That better?
Absolutely.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's crisp now.
Yeah.
Because I was on the other one. Okay, yo, we got a first timer on here.
No.
And I tell everyone all the time, the first person I consider my friend in this Dolphins community, yo, the homie, another part of the mod squad, Nico. What's good, bro?
Nico.
What's going on, gents?
Oh, what's going on, Nico?
Damn, man.
What's going on?
What a surprise.
Let me
How you
write
feeling,
this
man?
down. Let me write this down when he came on.
Man.
I know, right?
What's good, homie?
Nothing much. Just chilling.
And then, of course, we got Todd. What's going on, Todd?
What's going on? How you doing,
What's
EM?
I'm good, bro. What's going on, man?
At work now.
Reason you're surrounded by avatars again.
I know, eh?
Mhm.
So let me set the table, and I'm going to start with Nico. Has the clock struck Tua time?
Man, I could see them going to Tua this week, but I would still be on the train of holding out to week 10. But the 49ers are so banged up. They didn't look very good against the Eagles. And, the Broncos are also very banged up. So I don't know. I could see why people want him to go this next week. But I would still be on the train of holding out to week 10. That's just me. Yeah.
The floor is yours, gentlemen.
I mean, it seems like the name of the game, I think particularly for this season was, how long can you reasonably keep Fitzpatrick as starter for the team? Because really, he said it, and everyone knows he's the bridge. So, for me, if we can get to midseason, because, I think there's just some people in our fan base that just found out we're not going to the Super Bowl this year. I mean, that's just their mentality.
What are you saying? Wait, what?
I mean, this is breaking news for them. That's their mentality. They don't understand this is a top to bottom rebuild. I mean,
we're going 15-1. That's
we
what
literally, our team is literally a collection of football players and coaches trying to figure it out right now. Like, as much as we've allocated the resources and we drafted 11 players. Like as much as we've done all the roster rejiggering, we're not a team yet. And the coaches still have progression to make as well. So, right now it's all work in progress. And I'm hopeful that, we're gonna get there. But if you think the quarterback play is the only thing ailing this team, man, I mean, you only watching half the game.
Bro, they're in for a world of shock if they ever get the all-22 in their hands. That's all I gotta say.
No, right?
It's crazy out here in these streets, man. I mean, I don't know what the narrative, but I don't know who got dollars in whose pockets around here. But some of these narratives I've been seeing around here.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm trying. I want to be. Man. I'm trying to study the language of being conciliatory. But golly.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm hearing that.
I still want to draft a safety that can hold up to the hit, because you saw what happened when McCain left.
Yeah.
Parker goes back there, we give up a deep one.
Such a sexy safety class when you got a guy like Javon Holland who can play in the box, he can play in the slot, he can play single high. You got Andre Cisco, you got Caden Stearns, who's Brandon Jones' partner from Texas. You got that Nazar Ladine kid from FSU, who's an absolute stud.
Hey, my perfect first round is the Oregon. Go Oregon all the way.
Javon Holland.
Yep, and Sewell with the first one if we can get a top 5 out of
Honestly, bro, I'll tell you right now, I will say it was a better draft this year than it was last year if we come away with Penei Sewell and Micah Parsons with our first 2 picks.
Oh God, yeah.
Man.
Hey, that's the
Oh my
ideal
God.
scenario for me, man.
And then you
If
come
we
back
get
in the
those two.
second, and then you come back in the second, right? And you can sit there and you can add a nose tackle like Tyler Shelvin from who
That-
you can shit
I was
inside
looking
from
at him
LSU.
the other day.
Yeah, he's a beast. You can put him inside. You could go out to running back because Najee Harris or Kenneth Gainwell might still be sitting there. A receiver might slip who you like all the way down there too. So like, I'm telling you, this could be.
Hey,
This is a very, very deep
safety.
draft, man.
I would go safety and nose tackle in the second round because they have Gainwell possibly as a 3rd round pick, and that's where I would steal him.
Yeah.
Reason. So how far do you think Parsons will fall though?
No, he won't fall outside the top 10.
He's going top 10.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Like,
thinking.
let me put it this way: if Isaiah Simmons went 8, he may go higher because he's way better than Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, everyone talks about pass rushing. Oh, because that's what's the thing. When I was saying Parsons EM on social media, people were like, well, we need a pass rusher. People were saying on my list, I put my top 5 needs. Okay, my top 5 needs in order, if I remember correctly, was I put here, let me just make sure that I get it right. But anyways, what people were trying to say with me was, well, you're forgetting the edge rusher. And I was telling people, if y'all have watched Parsons play, yeah, you can use him on the inside if you want, but he's one of the best off-ball blitzing linebackers prospects I've probably ever seen, right? So that's why when people were like, people were trying to give me the Gregory Rousseau business or you forgot edge rusher. That's why I didn't name edge rusher, because right there, his ability to bring pressure is going to, from the linebacker position, will automatically help our pass rush. So I basically listed top 5 needs. I just said short list. So we've got a longer list than 5 needs, but I just went top 5. I went right tackle, middle linebacker, which Parsons can be middle or you can have him outside. Then I put nose tackle. Then I took, and you could flip any of these in any way. And then I put wide receiver, and then I put safety. So, people were trying to hit me with, well, you forgot edge rusher. And I was telling people, listen, if you go get Parsons as a middle linebacker or you draft him as an off-ball linebacker in this scheme, you don't need your edge rusher now. You don't have to worry about Gregory Rousseau, because I'll tell you all right now.
At least not in the first round.
Exactly. You can go worry about that in the 3rd. You can add depth guys in the 3rd or 4th. But my thing is, Gregory Rousseau, he's not a top 10 pick. And I don't care what anyone tells me, he's too raw. And when I talk about raw guys, I'm talking about like a raw product, like what Ceylon Farrell was when he came out and the Oakland Raiders drafted high investment on him. He's that raw. Don't get it in with the 15.5 sacks.
Miami has another one coming out this year, Roche. I would take him over Rousseau.
A lot of people, and you won't probably have to spend 1st round draft pick on him, bro.
No, he's supposed to be a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
Well, the way the season's going, I mean, it looks like we're going to be positioned to have, possibly 2 lottery, they would call the NBA lottery picks, but
don't say that, Havoc. Don't.
At the very least,
bro.
we're a lock for 1 top 10 pick, because right now the Houston Texans are a trash fire inside of a dumpster fire inside of the state of Texas.
You see who the interim head coach is?
Romeo Purnell now.
Purnell.
Boy. That's a lock for a top 5 pick. I revise that.
I'm telling you right now, man. If our pick winds up being a top, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be physically sick. I'm telling you, for a long time. It's gonna take a while to wash this season this taste out of my mouth. I'm just being totally transparent.
Look, man.
You know what that means, Havoc? If it's a top 5 pick, you know what that could mean? That could mean Fitzpatrick got replaced, Tua came in, and it didn't help the situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a situation I want to happen. And it's like I said earlier, we're not really a team yet. We're a collection of talented players and coaches, but we're not really a team yet. And I think I said before the season that, look, we're gonna struggle early, but we're gonna make a late surge. Guys, so that's what I'm hoping for.
In the next 2 weeks, we're gonna be 3-3. We're winning.
We got too many new pieces.
Was I wrong earlier?
What?
Yeah, was I wrong earlier on Larry's show when I said Byron Jones, and I think we have 2 more wins against Buffalo and yesterday in Seattle.
You might be
right. Definitely Seattle.
You might be right.
Definitely Seattle. But where I would push back on the Buffalo game is that
Josh Allen's lights out right now.
I didn't see schematically. I didn't see. I don't think the coach called from a schematic standpoint. I don't think he called a consistent enough game for us to bother Josh Allen, because I think if Byron Jones was locked up on Stephon Diggs, I mean, he had a plethora of options to go to. It's just Diggs was just, I mean, he was just the obvious. Exactly. He was cooking with some serious fish freaks, and but I just don't think schematically he called a consistent enough game to influence the outcome in our favor in the Buffalo game. But I do think I saw that in the Seattle game, and I do think Byron Jones would have made a difference, because Byron Jones would have been in Noah Igbinogheni's position at the end of the first half. He wouldn't have given up a play like that. You know what I'm saying? And several other plays that Noah gave up, Byron Jones just wouldn't have given those plays up. So, but
I'm gonna just say, hey, Professor Finesser, I appreciate you coming out, my friend, but my dude, you got to take a Xanax and relax, my friend. Like, don't be disgusted yet. We're only 4 games in. For all we know, Tua could come in this week and set that, and all of a sudden we go on a winning streak. You never know. Anything's possible in the NFL any given Sunday. So
yeah,
you'll just feel a lot better generally if you're just positive and let it roll off you, bro. There's nothing you can do to impact the game's results. You weren't playing on the field, right? You can't, it's out of your hands, my friend. You just gotta, and I get it. I get the frustration. A lot of us here on this panel have been around since Marino was here. And even when we weren't winning Super Bowls, we were consistently thought of a playoff team and competitive. I get it, bro. I get where the culture's been the last 20 years, but we're at a point where, my friend, you've seen so many up and downs, and especially down. You've got to have thick skin for it by now, where, there was points where I laugh when things go wrong. I laugh when things go wrong. I'm just like, this is our luck as Dolphin fans and for the Miami Dolphins organization. This is just how it's been playing out for us, man. So, people always talk about, we haven't been as good since Pennington was there. Well, newsflash, people. Pennington, we wouldn't have won the AFC East if we didn't have the Wildcat. Like, it took the biggest wrinkle in the last 20 years for that was implemented in the season for us to be in the position we were in that year. So, I get it, man. I get your frustration. I share your frustration, bro. But you know what I do, man? I just, I told EM, between hockey and football, do you know how many remote controls for your TV I've gone through, throwing in controls and tossing? I'm not joking, man. I'm not joking. I've had, before my wife, multiple girlfriends who used to say, yo, you need to calm down. My mom, when I lived with her back when I was a teen, used to flip her crap because I would do it. But you know what I learned as I got older, man? It's not worth it. It's just, it's out of your control. Don't let it, we all let it affect us, but don't let it bring you down and make your Monday mornings negative, because, you got so much to live for besides a game that you weren't playing. You know what I mean? If you feel that bad, imagine how a player who went out there and gave 110% and got put on a slow roaster like Noah Igbinogheni feels. You know what I mean? So,
prayer helps.
Yeah,
prayer definitely helps.
I get it, Professor. You know what I'll say to you about arguing all day on YouTube, my friend? Yo, one thing I've learned is I'll say a couple things here and there on social media to people when I don't agree with what they say and they come in my threads, but it'll get to a point where I'll let them just argue with themselves because I've made my point. I put it out there. People will come in and back you up. Move on, bro. There is a toxic side to every fan base. And again, don't let those people bring you down, man, because they're winning every time they do that.
Reason, the way I look at it, after what we went through last year, for us to go up against an 11-4 record with all the teams combined, and we were a handful of plays away from being 4-0.
Or 3-1 at least.
At least.
Yeah.
Honestly, we were a handful of plays from being away from 4-1.
Yeah.
We could have very easily won that New England game.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, 7-9, 8-8, 9-7, it don't feel that much better than this right now. I mean,
but we're going through the hard schedule now.
Yeah, I mean, seeing a season where we went 1-15 with a team of veterans, that to me that was way worse than what we're doing right now. At least right now we got hope. I mean, our team is we got the second youngest team in the league right now. We got hope. That's something. We got a whole bunch of bricks to build a foundation with right now. That's how I stay upbeat.
And I'll add to this, you Havoc. Also, I don't know about how the Patriots are going to pan out, especially with the whole Cam Newton situation in terms of COVID and what happens while in his absence.
Yeah.
But those two teams, we lost to the Bills by 3 points. We lost to the Seattle Seahawks by 8, and we had multiple chances to win both games. And both teams, I can say with 110% confidence, are legitimate playoff threats, not just playoff contenders. They're playoff threats.
Yeah.
And we took them to the bank, bro. We pushed them, even with our defense against Buffalo playing as bad as it did at times against the Pats. Noah Benogany giving up big plays yesterday, and we weren't creating any, and we still were in multiple positions to take the lead. So, you got to look for there gets to a time, guys, where you can't live your life hanging on to negatives. Yes, you can address the negatives. Yes, you can be honest with the negatives, but you also have to look for positives in a negative situation, because usually most of the times, especially with this young of a team and this young of a coaching staff, there are going to be positives that you have to take away and hope that they build on week by week.
And look at what New England's defense did tonight to Kansas City for most of the game. That's not a defense that was a joke.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you can't let the past dictate what your future is going to be. I mean, it's like anytime, someone comes from a bad situation and they got to learn how to evolve out of that bad situation and become a better version of themselves. It's like with this franchise right now, we're done with the old, we're going to recycle some veterans to patch it up and we're going to see what we can do. Like, we're done with that playbook. The new playbook is we're going to build from the bottom up. We're going to get our resources lined up. We're going to prioritize bringing in a young coach, working with him, bringing in young players, work with them, having a unified vision throughout the entire organization. And these things take time. Enjoy the process, because when you out here going to playoff after playoff, championship game after championship game, you're going to wonder why you're wigging out over the first half of the 2020 season.
First quarter.
Second, because Jason Grease is right here. First of all, Josh Allen and Russell Wilson so far are MVP candidates. No one's going to lie about that so far. Second of all, let's put it in this context, guys. When Jimmy G went down, right, that first year, and they ended up like 3-13 or whatever, but they had so many great pieces around him, and they could still only win 3 games. I could only imagine, and EM would probably know better than anyone because he's got 2 brothers that are San Francisco fans. I bet you there was a bunch of San Francisco fans, even with Jimmy G out, that were still ready to jump off a ledge because of the rest of the team wasn't getting them 6, 7, 8 wins without him. And then the next year they go to a Super Bowl. No, I'm not saying that's going to happen out here. All I'm sitting there and saying is, look at something happened, a situation that was out of the team's control in terms of an injury, but all the pieces were in place where the next year came around, they went full forward. It just means we've got so many moving pieces on both sides of the ball that are new, and on the coaching staff that's what we're dealing with instead of injuries right now. We're dealing with the growth process for guys like Noah Benogany, Raekwon Davis. We're dealing with the growth, well, not so much the offensive line, but we're dealing with the growth process of Josh Boyer. You know what I mean? Like, it's at different levels here, man.
And low-key Chan Gailey, too.
I'm sorry?
I said low-key Chan Gailey.
But Chan Gailey has got better every week.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying,
and also
he's been away from football for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And also, Chan, the statistics don't lie. I mean, we're top 10. He's got a top 10 offense right now.
Great, and we're good on third down, right? So, like,
he needs to improve those situationally. He definitely needs improvement situationally, I would say.
And I still think we're missing a very big piece, and that's Wilson, who opted out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm telling you, the absence of Albert Wilson, I'm telling you, that is huge, bro.
And that's what I'm telling you. If we go with Parker and PvP, the wide receiver, I would not be mad that they take. Well, there's a couple. I wouldn't be mad with Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith. I don't want Jamar Chase. I think he's more of a product of his system. And you all know Rashad Bateman is my number one, but he's just a big body guy. He's like an Odell Beckham, right? Rondell Moore. You could not get a better replacement and a better slot player. Like, you know, this guy, he's electric after the catch. Yeah. And I'm talking about out of the slot. This could be a 1,200-yard guy out of the slot, legitimately. So, I mean, you know, that's why if they went wide receiver in terms of skill position in the first round, with how our wide receivers in terms of lack of separation at certain times and hardcore press man, et cetera, I would not be totally against a Waddle, a Smith, a Rondell Moore. Hell, if they say, you know what, we're not going to pay Devontae Parker, give me Rashad Bateman all day, because as big as he is, you can move him in the slot if you have to, just like Devontae, we use him in the slot as well, too, right?
You know what reason, though? Speaking of Devontae Parker, I want him to be a lifer, bro. What I'm saying from a heart standpoint,
he's gonna be what I mean.
The dude is all heart, bro. He is out there clearly hobbling. You know what I mean? 1 week is hamstring, the next week is his ankle, the next week it's his foot, but he's still out there, bro. He's sucking it up, and he's putting, he's put exactly. He's giving you quality production. I want Devontae here for the long haul. I was like,
right? He was hobbling it out, but he wanted right back in there, and he came right back in there.
Yeah.
First snap in there, he made a reception, bro.
This version of
they went low on him, and they went low on him with the tackle.
Yeah. This version of Devontae Parker, I want to see him. I want him to be a lifer. I want him to be around for a while, man. To be honest with you.
Yeah, that was what I felt the same way about. I felt the same way about Chris Chambers, and I was always sad he wasn't, bro.
Oh man, that was my guy, Chris Chambers.
Yeah, I was always sad that when he moved on to San Diego, he was just never the same guy that he was here, right? Same thing with Randy Michael. When he left here, he's never.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about they're not necessarily legends, but really good guys. Like guys that we really leaned on in the 2000s.
Good players.
Guys our age,
the
guys our age in the mid 30s, early 30s, a lot of guys our age have Chris Chambers and Randy McMichael really high on their list, right? Because we all know if we had something better than Fiedler, we could have been competed, because
we could have done something.
I thought Fiedler was a decent game manager. His problem was he always threw an interception at the worst time.
And he couldn't throw deep at all.
No,
at all.
How many of y'all still remember the 200-yard receiving game he had against?
Oh yeah,
against who?
Yeah, over 200 yards against Buffalo in the game.
Yeah.
Fiedler wasn't the problem. It was Wannstedt.
I mean,
killed that dude. Wannstedt killed him.
That's the problem.
Oh yeah. Fiedler deserved a lot of the blame too.
Wannstedt did what he knew what to do. I mean, he ran the defense and he ran Ricky into the ground.
What was that game what was that year where we started off hot and then it came down to the final game and he threw that interception right in front of the red zone or right in the red zone, and we basically, what year was that where we had if we won that game, we were in.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because the problem is that Fiedler would have a great game, a big game, and the next game he put him on the back burner. You can't have a quarterback play so good like he did at times, and then crush him the week after by saying we're not going to use you. That's what I mean by he ruined Fiedler. He ruined his confidence.
I agree, Cope. For Jarvis, I wanted as a lifer too. I love Jarvis. Jarvis is one of my.
Oh yeah.
Jarvis would be such a luxury right now.
That hurt when
Jarvis is all heart, bro. You gotta respect that. He is all heart, dude.
And can I be honest with you? Can I be honest with you guys? One of the best possession receivers of the last decade, hands down.
Easily.
Oh yeah,
bro.
Freaking Gase.
Definitely.
Yeah, we had him in the slot.
Exactly, Pyro.
Gase broke my heart.
Exactly, Nico. If we had him in the slot this year, but
in my opinion, he's probably the
Pyro, you heard what he said about Gase, right? He said if Gase wasn't, because Gase isn't here, he'd come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, real quick. Real quick. speaking of Albert Wilson, we know he opted out this year. I mean, do we entertain the idea of bringing him back next year?
Nope.
Or are we moving on?
Moving on.
Yeah.
We
It would have been
restructured-
great to have him this year, but yeah.
I get the
say move on.
circumstance, bro, but we restructured your contract for this,
Mhm.
and we should have just, you know what I mean? Like, and here's the thing: he's another year older. His body's another year older. He's got durability issues. Guys, I'm not lying to any of you out there. We got 137 in the room. This is a deeper wide receiver class than last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And let me go back to this, EM. If these dudes would have taken James Proche instead of Blake Ferguson, like I was telling them to on day 3, we probably wouldn't even be worried about draft because there is no question we need to invest top 4 round, top 3 round capital in a receiver next year. I don't care what anyone tells me. We need something. Like, look at this. Look at what the Falcons did. Look at Calvin Ridley.
Absolutely.
He's taking it away out of Julio Jones' hand. It took a couple years, but they slowly transitioned it here, and here we are, man.
Yeah. Now Matt Ryan's falling off a cliff right now.
Yeah, he is. You see the block he laid for Gurley to get in the end zone?
Oh man, I see how Twitter's getting after him right now. They're killing Matt Ryan.
Hey, I still would have taken him.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Ryan's 37 now? 30.
He had an MVP season. I mean,
he's a borderline. He's a borderline.
Jake Long was a borderline for 2 or 3 years, but Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan. Let's be real. I'm taking him all day. He's a borderline Hall of Fame player. I mean, he'll be in the Hall of Fame consideration. You wouldn't take that. You wouldn't take that in Miami?
No,
I would.
And Havoc, if it wasn't for bad play calling, get this straight, right? They all of a sudden, that MVP season you're talking about, you go look at the second half, all of a sudden they started taking the ball out of Matt Ryan's hand when they were up 28-3. And he's the guy who got you there. When they started making it close, they kept running the football. And then he comes back with the San Francisco last year, and he puts the ball in Jimmy G's hands, who's a less talented quarterback, in the second half instead of running the clock out. Like, that's what, Matt Ryan should be a Super Bowl champion. That's Kyle Shanahan, I would send him like,
Roses.
He'd be getting a letter full of anthrax for me on Twitter.
I think the shine is starting to come off Dan Quinn. Definitely this year.
Shanahan wants to win the Super Bowl. I think he just wants to show up.
Dan, that's hard.
But
you may be right.
Matt Ryan has been a top 10 quarterback throughout his entire career. For the most part.
Reason. I'm not gonna tolerate you picking on Blake Ferguson, man. Look at all those perfect snaps to our holder for the field goal.
He's got a point there. I
called it yesterday.
He's got a point there.
Haven't noticed anything off.
Patriots game. Let me ask you this: for that Patriots game, what would you have rather? Separation out of the slot or Blake Ferguson snap?
Oh, I'm just messing with you. You know what I will take.
Why do you gotta come on here and give me the drum line?
No respect for the kicking game. I swear to God.
Yeah. Why do you gotta come on here and give me the? What do you mean? I love Matt Hack or Hawk. Give me that guy every time.
Hawk. Yeah. We know EM just wants the third string long snapper in the game more. You know what I mean? He's trying to get Hollins on the field any way he can.
Hey, maybe we should try him out over at right tackle.
Yeah.
Hey. I mean, Jesse Davis ain't having the hottest season.
Let me ask you guys. Talked about it. Me and Ian talked about it. Let me ask you guys, because we've shown y'all pressures and everything like that consistently from Jesse Davis, and even PFF has consistently graded him the lowest lineman, which is what me and EM have seen on the All 22 over here. That he is the weakest link. Is it time to give Robert Hunt some live snaps? Because we noticed last game he had the most snaps he had of any game so far. Is it time to give Robert Hunt more live? Is he the one we should be talking about instead of Tua right now in terms of, is it Robert Hunt time?
I mean, we're talking about growing pains. I'm at a point, we know Jesse Davis's best utilization is as a guy you can bring in that can fill in all across the line, not necessarily as a guy.
A swing tackle.
I mean, that's his best utilization. So, if it's me, and Jesse Davis is consistently rated, although the PFF ratings have been kind of weird, but he's consistently rated as the lowest ranking offensive lineman, lower than the two rookies. I mean, what do you got to lose by seeing what you got with Hunt?
Damn. But the question is, though, with Jesse Davis struggling like he has been, damn, how bad has Robert Hunt been?
That's a better question now.
Damn.
With all the praise that Jesse Davis got coming out of training camp as being one of our best offensive linemen and how he beat out Robert Hunt, how bad was Robert Hunt in pass pro and run pro just in scrimmage and in so
that's where us not seeing more practice comes into play.
Hey, let me ask you this. What with the way Davenport looked, would you want to move him over to right tackle?
I don't trust Davenport. I know he's playing well.
You know what? I meant to ask you that reason, but we got sidetracked. I forgot, bro.
That's a very good question.
I said it yesterday, guy.
Oh, did you right now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm like, he's looking pretty good. I thought he was worth a shot at least.
I mean, bro. I mean, really.
I know it would be more memorable when you ask the question.
What?
I said maybe if I could see your face more, it'd be more memorable.
It'll be worse.
I mean, I
distracted.
I assume the Dolphins organization saw something in him when they wanted him in that trade. I assume they saw something in him.
Yeah.
It's just I didn't see any of it last season.
Nico,
but
I want to hear Nico. What do you think of this, bro?
Man, Robert Hunt didn't have the hottest training camp by any means, but it is concerning that Jesse Davis was one of our, most preached about for doing the best in training camp, and he's clearly the weakest link on the field in terms of the O-line. So I don't know if you just go with the punches and you just risk putting in Hunt like that, but I don't know. Davenport did play very well at left tackle though. It snaps.
And the thing with Jesse Davis, he's giving you nothing in a run game as well, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Damn, he's giving you nothing. At least I would think Robert Hunt would be the more competent run blocker. At least, well, you can build. That's a foundation right there that you can build upon.
He's like, damn. When it comes to the run and the pass.
I mean, I think it's clear that, clearly, a number of the rookies that we drafted, aren't ready yet. And that's fine because rookies, they're gonna progress at the point they're gonna progress at. So, I think there's a reason why Flores chooses to go with, steady veteran types rather than because I thought, a guy like Raekwon would be, no brainer, just put him in here and he can do what he does. But he's been struggling too. And I think Flores thought, Raekwon would be a little bit more than what he's shown so far. So, there's a reason why Flores is favoring the veterans because he's like, at least I can rely on you for this. Where we're not seeing what's going on in practice every day.
Hey, it's not even just that. Look at they only had a month and a half.
We had no preseason. I mean, we literally just had our preseason right now.
Preseason's over.
Preseason is over.
It's hard to go with rookies when they don't have as much camp as what you would have had last year.
Well, they have gone with the two rookies. They've gone, with Jackson. They've gone with Kinley, and they've gone with rookies a few other places. But you can't go every position. That's the thing. You can't say you're all veteran and you're all rookie. It's a balance he's trying to find, I think, and it's so difficult. But he did say they're going to reevaluate the first 4 games and they're going to make changes. So let's see.
Well, one thing we can say though, we're getting contributions from pretty much all of our picks. You know what I mean? We've never seen that. That's encouraging because I mean, really, there hasn't been a pick that's been an absolute.
You know what the problem? You know what the problem is, bro? Mm-hmm. The Buffalo Bills and the Seattle Seahawks got some contribution from one of our picks as well, bro. That's what the problem is, bro. So I gotta ask you, Yem, Scotty Too Hottie, will Benito Jones get brought up before the end of the year?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Because Gotcha, let's talk about this for a second, Em. Gotcha again, guys. I pointed out during the live reaction, but when we went back and watched it, Gotcha again, guys. He's just getting moved out of lanes like like a car getting off the highway, man.
Bro, he's handing them gifts out, bro. He's continuously handing him gift sets like he said. It's like Christmas came early for him. And man, he's offering. I mean, and I that's a conversation I think that's not being talked about enough. He's giving you
played out of position, in my opinion. He can end more than
but I mean, what's the alternative? You see the struggles that Raekwon Davis is having, which was what I said coming into this year he would have early on. I mean, what's the alternative? I see they're trying to, they're bringing in Zach Sealer a little more, and he's I think in his role situationally, I think he's performed better than Devon Godchaux, but I'm a little queasy about playing him there primarily. You know what I mean?
No,
so
I would like to
I hear you.
But I'm open to anything. But Benito is just. I just don't think he's just. It's just like Kirk Merritt. All those guys are still on a practice squad. They're just not up to speed yet.
Malcolm Perry hasn't even seen the field yet.
Malcolm Perry as well. So
I'm surprised by that.
I think he will. I think he will, just for a depth.
And
especially if somebody gets hurt, he'll get brought up at some point.
It wouldn't break my heart to bring in Snacks either.
Yeah, I mean, that's a name that's been, bantied about. We're in a situation with Godchaux where, he's looking for a new deal, and clearly he doesn't feel the need of what we need from that position. So, I don't know if it's gonna happen, but if I'm the Dolphins. If someone is ringing the phone asking about Devon Godchaux, I'm taking every single call regarding Devon Godchaux. We're not re-upping him. We're not re-upping him.
No.
But here's the problem: the way he's playing, who's going to call you?
Bro,
here's the frustration I have.
I would say you can call Bill O'Brien, but he just got fired.
I know, right? Here's the frustration I have. There were so many quality options. There were so many quality options in free agency this year that they could have signed. Your DJ Readers of the world, obviously Michael Pierce of the world, even bringing back John Jenkins. You know what I mean?
Sure. I would have supported that. 100%.
I said, bro, this is my biggest concern. And lo and behold, like clockwork. But Godchaux needs to go. He's another one. He's entering that Jerome Baker realm for me.
Hey, if you notice something, where are we weakest at on our defense? It's right up the middle, inside linebacker, defensive tackle,
safety.
And you go to safety if he can't stay on the field without having to go see about a concussion.
It's a freaking highway down our defense.
Yeah, I mean that 2017 draft. Boy, that is a rough looking draft. We had, but it's part of the process. You gotta. We're in a position right now with our defense where clearly we have players that don't have a role here.
It's exactly right, Mr. Ballgame. He'll go to another team. He'll be an All-Pro.
Who Godchaux?
Oh yeah, it's just Dolphin.
Oh
luck.
no.
I think
is he trolling? I hope he's trolling.
He's just saying that's how our luck is, man.
I think you can pencil in Godchaux for 4 to 5 sacks a year for the duration of his career. No more, no less.
So you guys heard Balaj got cut.
No.
They cut really? He did it? No. Did he really?
That is a lie.
Yeah,
but I
did.
heard Balaj was better than what's his name that we got rid of the Cardinals. What happened?
Kalen Balaj got cut.
That hurt him, man.
You telling me after Kalen Balaj?
You're on mute, Reason. I think.
Hey, Reason.
Y'all didn't hear? Go check my Twitter. I posted when he got released. I posted the video clip against the Colts of when he tried to hurdle the guy and he got lit up.
The guy with 1.8 hamstring tried to hurdle a man standing up got cut because he can't play football.
It is official.
Guys, can I ask you something? Can I ask you? Yeah, it's official. It's official. Can I ask y'all something? Considering he's been with them, and then considering we tried to get them to him and he failed the physical, does that mean he's been with the Jets 1.8 times?
Hey, let me ask you this though. I'm gonna be honest. Hey, I'll be honest though. Right now, we can't even say that about Howard. He's not even doing 1.8.
Yeah, but we can say that about Gaskins and we can say that about Brady. I'm sticking with the positive with our running game.
Listen, I'm right now at this point. I hope Kalen Balaj wrote out that scholarship and got his degree because he's gonna need to be dusting off that resume
bro.
He better save his money. Yeah.
Havoc.
He hasn't put good tape together in a year and a half.
Bro, Havoc. At this rate, him and Jordan Howard are going to start a podcast in the offseason. That's the new appointments, bro.
1.8 yards.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The 1.8. The 1.8 cup. The 1.8 podcast. Yeah.
We'll call that fish on the grill.
Yeah.
You know what? I called Myles Gaskin taking Balazs's job. I didn't call him coming out here and taking Howard's job, but here we are.
Yeah. I mean, it could be in a situation where Gaskins didn't even take Balazs's job. Balazs had that thing on a gold platter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like serving it up to anybody who's willing to take it. Once again, you look at the college film. You look at the film with the Dolphins. When has he ever impressed you outside of one run in Minnesota?
I'm telling you, bro. I wish to God I was on the field when he got blew up by Bobby McCain and look at Flores' face. Oh my God, bro! I know he was.
Flores was bent over. He was throwing up, man.
I know he was like,
Flores.
Oh, hell no.
EM. You know what you saw? Yeah, you know what you saw? I can tell you. You know what you saw? You saw two things. You saw first he went like. Second of all, he went like. That's what he did, bro.
I've seen. And I know he looked at it. I know
the running back coach going, I can't help him. There's nothing I know.
I know he looked at Studsfield. He was like, "Motherfucker, what? This is really? Really?"
No, you're all wrong. He missed the whole thing. He was staring at Raekwon Davis.
Oh man,
that's what was going on.
It's like a father at a little league game when his son runs the wrong way for a touchdown. Oof. It's like, can't do nothing with this kid.
Yeah,
he was looking at Raekwon Davis, and then he just see Bobby McCain just standing over Balazs, and he was like,
Bobby McCain made a tackle.
Like, what happened? He's Bobby blew him up. What?
Bobby did that? Bobby did what?
Please say somebody caught that on tape so I can.
Hey, Kayla, because we still had Curtis Weaver at the time, right? Hey, Kaylin, you're out. Go massage Curtis's leg. That's what they call it.
When Balazs came through after that concussion, he burned that tape. Y'all don't even know.
Bobby probably has a mural of it on his wall.
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby.
I just want to know how embarrassing it is that you literally have the word ball in your last name, and you're probably one of the worst ballers I've ever seen in my life. Put that into context.
It's Bumlage.
Havoc, I've been giving you a few weeks. I'm surprised you never came up with this for a Hollins nickname. Hollins, hot sauce Hollins, dude. Why did you never?
Bro, listen.
Hot sauce Hollins.
I've been giving you weeks, man. Weeks.
I'm waiting for Mac Hollins to score a touchdown so I can transition. So we can go from Mac Hollins Wingstop employee to Hollins Days. You put that on your Eggs Benedict, that Hollins Days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, he's fancy, is he? He's fancy.
Man. That's an upgrade, bro.
He said Eggs Benedict.
Hey.
Funny.
I'll say this: a couple games ago, he was wide open on that bootleg.
Yes, he was
wide open. And when we closed out that Jacksonville, we couldn't get big gains in the second. They inserted him as that extra tight end, and Gaskin got a 13-yard run following his lead block.
So Seahawks.
I mean,
buddy, they're only giving him 4 or 5 snaps a game because that's what they know his durability can handle right now.
He's making the most out of him, though. He's making the most out of him.
You know what? Obviously, the Dolphins are, they're entertaining him at tight end. Obviously, he might even be a full-time tight end at this point, maybe fourth on the depth chart. But I don't understand why when they're going like they're using Durham Smythe a lot in the passing game particularly when they go into a spread concept.
He's been good though.
But I mean, come on,
I would actually because of Durham Smythe's play, I would take snaps away from Shaheen. I think he's been far more useless than Durham Smythe has been, bro.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I'm talking about in obvious passing situations when they have 2 tight ends on the field.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that wrinkle a lot. So I'm like, okay, why would obviously Matt Collins is the better athlete? He's a better option in the passing game, you would think.
Yeah.
So I would like to see him more being, I would like to see him more in that, in that role. When they opt.
But you know what the problem is too, EM? And I kept saying this, right? Remember when you're going through training camp leading into the season?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at guys like Matt Collins, if you look at guys like Kirk Merritt, if you look at guys like, who are on the bottom, even the 6'7" guys on our team, right? They were getting most of the majority of their throws from Tua, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I think Fitz didn't even look his way when he was wide open on that bootleg, because they have no chemistry, right? Like Matt Collins got on the team because of what he displayed in special teams, but also from being on the other end of Tua Tagovailoa passes. So that should also tell people, that should also tell people Tua's impact alone in training camp. Matt Collins he had to have, for him to display what he displayed in such a short amount of time with no preseason games, he had to have competent quarterback play coming his way too, right? Because we kept hearing he was making like one-handed catches off Tua because Tua was placing it there. Like, I think here's the thing. You know what I think's scary about when you look at our UDFA squad and you look at a guy like Matt Collins? Matt Collins and a guy like Kirk Merritt, if he gets called up, you're going to see, and Isaiah Ford, because it sounded like they had chemistry too, you're going to see him target those guys more initially because he worked more with them than he did with Preston and Devontae. He has a more comfort. And a few of those guys he had been working since he came over to Miami, right? And he'd been zooming with them since the draft. So he just has a different repertoire. Like, that was the thing with the one thing I stuck out with Rosen putting up the same numbers. Remember what I used to cling on with Rosen putting up the same numbers in scrimmage with Tua is, Rosen had last year's preseason, last year's training camp, and he had live NFL regular season reps with those receivers he was throwing to, and he was still putting up Tua numbers. Whereas Tua's the rookie, learning the system, learning the terminology, getting acclimated to the speed of the game. They're throwing him wrinkles pre-snap just because they want to see if he can pick things up, which we learned in training camp that he was picking things up, right? And on top of that, he's got to make chemistry with these guys, some of these guys like Devontae and Preston, who are mainstays when the number one's tried out onto the field that he's never worked with. It's another one. Look at Gaskin. Gaskin made this team, made the impact, and got Kalen Ballage knocked out this team working with Tua under center, not just running the ball, but catching the ball out of the backfield from Tua.
Yeah.
So I can literally name 2 players and practice squad players that owe their ass to Tua Tagovailoa right now. And Malcolm Perry. That's what I was trying to name. That's what I was trying to name, Rhino. Thank you. I was thinking Isaiah Ford. It was Malcolm Perry, right? Every Malcolm Perry. Look at Malcolm Perry and Tua. EM. Remember when they made me look good against Alan Pupar from SI when he called me out about Perry, when I said he looks like he's displaying really pillow soft hands, and that's what surprised me the most. And then later was that corner fade route in the end zone where he got hit, where he just watched it in, right? Like, I'm telling you, that's Malcolm Perry. And, a lot of people were, including me, were penciling him as the number 5 guy. That was because of Tua Tagovailoa, bro.
And Perry was the one that caught that bomb in the practice.
Yeah, that's the one I was just talking about. Yeah, like me and I don't know if you remember, Pyro, but I had Alan Papar on here from SI, and I was on Twitter that morning. I was on Twitter, and EM remembers this because he saw it. I was on Twitter, and I said, I'm really impressed with Malcolm Perry. Not only is he picking up the offense really well, it seems, but it also seems he's displaying, and I used pillow soft like hands. Alan Papar literally quote tweeted me and said, pillow soft hands, I don't know about that. Not even an hour later came out that highlight, the one you're talking about, Pyro, and I was like, bro, like,
that was beautiful.
So
I think people have really downplayed Tua's impact on the running back position because of Gaskin and the bottom half of our receiver core and a guy like Malcolm Perry, who a lot of people know.
Oh yeah, that's legitimate. That's a legitimate point.
Hey, Reese, you guys have watched over and over.
I just want to add to this, EM. Can you answer this? Because you'll remember. I know you'll remember. Did anyone like that emerge underplaying with Josh Rosen in the last 2 seasons or 3 going back to Arizona?
Absolutely not, bro. Absolutely not.
You talking about the practice squad quarterback?
Maybe Preston, maybe.
But it wasn't because of Josh Rosen.
No. Well, didn't they say Preston and Preston and
because y'all remember
connection.
Devontae was basically silent until Fitz took over. And now look at the stat I read earlier. If you go over the last 16 games, Devontae Parker has 1,280 yards over the last 16 games.
That's a lot of. I tell you what, that's a lot of 50-50 footballs. I tell you, man.
You know what I saw someone EM complaining about today?
A lot of 50-50 balls.
EM, my word, I saw someone complain today that Fitz isn't throwing enough 50-50 balls this year because that's Devontae's game. I was like, my God. I was like, I'm lost.
Yeah, that was in the comment section last night too.
Yeah.
You know what my biggest complaint is?
I've been seeing.
I don't know. You guys have seen the games over and over. I've only been able to watch it on Facebook, so I can't really go back over it. But I've seen a lot of open receivers missed.
Yeah.
I mean, this in particular, this last game, that's valid.
Well,
but I think you can find that on every play. I think.
But again, you can find, and also you can find that on my issue is you can find that with every quarterback. If you go back and look at the tape on the Seattle Seahawks side. Russell Wilson missed several throws.
Yep.
So
he just makes ones every once in a while that are really. Whoop.
No, my problem is it's the same guy over and over in one game. Like
Reason said that. Reason said that yesterday that he was focusing on Ford. It seemed like he was focusing on Ford.
It seemed like Ford was his first
game
read a
against
lot.
New England. It kept being Ford was open and he wasn't getting the ball.
Yeah.
And then you look at that, and then you look at one of those last drives against Buffalo Bills, where it was pretty much all Gesicki in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And I've said this to EM, I've said this to Rhino. I don't know if Pyromancer was there, but I said, get Gesicki the ball. There's no reason he should not be targeted 8 to 12 times a game, bro. There's just no. He's a matchup nightmare.
Yeah.
He's clearly ascending right now as a blocker, so he's competent enough to carry more than 70% of the snaps.
But you know what I noticed though, Reason? They need to get more creative pre-snap with Mike Gesicki.
And that's
you know what we need? You know what we need him? You know what we need him?
As opposed to sending Jakeem Grant in motion pre-snap. They need to send him in motion.
And you know what you need to do? You know what you need to do? Because now we've added more pre-snap motion than what we were all calling for on this channel. And then you've seen the last games it's been there. You know what I want to see him now? I want to see more motion at the snap, not just pre-snap. Start mixing in motion at the snap because that's what makes the Baltimore Ravens so successful, right? Because that's going to compete because you can really start using false keys when you are motioning at the snap. So that's what I want to see, man. And it just adds another repertoire to this offense. So give me more continue with the pre-snap, but now start mixing in more motions at the snap. And I think you're going to see more creativity and more yards.
And they need to go more up tempo more, bro. They get stagnant, bro. Even coming out of the huddle, you're like, damn. I'm like if you look at the Atlanta Falcons tonight, you see how everything is just boom. Everything is like accelerated. Everything, even them getting out of the huddle and get to the line of scrimmage, lining up. That people don't realize how much pressure that puts on the defense.
This is why you make a lot of. This is why you make a lot of sense, EM. You remember in the third quarter when we were up 15-12, and Rhino and everyone who was watching remember when I pointed it out, guys, who were here with the live reaction, they were focusing in on them and they were looking winded. Defense was looking in the third quarter. It would look like the Heat and the game was starting to catch up to them. If you would have switched to a high tempo, almost 2-minute like offense, you probably would have scored in the end zone because you would have kept them on their back heels in that heat.
Because we gave them time to recover.
I mean, there's no reason why the Dolphins shouldn't be the best conditioned team in the league and use that home field advantage to our advantage with the up tempo, especially you get into the third and fourth quarters. You know, you get these teams from like the Jets, like any team up from the north. They're not used to that heat or the humidity. That plays a role. And
you know what the thing is, Bivik?
Yeah.
If you go to that up-tempo offense, you score, and now we go up 19-17, your defense gets a stop in 4 to 6 plays.
They got to go right back on the field.
Back out on the field, you go right back to up-tempo, bro. And now you're just pounding away. And bro, now all of a sudden in that 99 Florida Heat, man. Now
that's why I was saying
that feels like 109. That feels like 109.
Pyro, don't pyro.
That's why I meant when I said run the ball, I said I want because they was puffing and puffing. I was
third
like,
and 3 pyro.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Ricky was so successful. Partly, they were just pounding and pounding first, second, third, and fourth quarter. I mean, it was relentless.
He didn't block.
I mean,
you know the problem.
I want to see our attempts. I want to see 30 attempts minimum from here on out in the run game. 30. I don't care what the damn total, the yards per carry total is.
You got to run just to run.
I want to see minimum 30 carries from here on out. Whether Tua is behind center or Fitz.
Hey, can I be honest with you guys? Roll with Gaskin and Breda and mix in Laird. Just give me one game of what EM asked for without them inserting Howard in the third quarter when Breda's got the hot hand out of nowhere and Howard and all of a sudden you stagnated the run game and then it leaked into the pass game because if you saw for 2 straight plays they left them right next to Fitzpatrick and shotgun because now they wanted to keep the defense honest that hey, he's not out here situationally just for run, and then he gets blown up by KJ Wright on a screen pass. That like why even have him out there, man? So
I didn't know you guys noticed, but when the defense, I would say, when we were starting to hit, the Seattle Seahawks, when we was getting aggressive and physical with the running back, you notice, I think Pete Carroll called the timeout. You notice the offense was huffing and puffing.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
and I was like, and you see what it was working when we was eating the clock, and then when the defense was starting to figure it out, and it was hitting them. I mean, being aggressive. We was up there, just up ended. I think that's when Carson got injured. When we up ended him, and then that's when Pete Carroll called timeout. The next play after that, and I'm saying that's right. That right there is the formula to beat the Seahawks. That's why.
Guys, can I tell you this, Pyro? I'll say this confidently. Chris Carson doesn't play yesterday. We beat them, and you take that. You got a team that got 98 yards. 80 of them went from Carson, and he missed snaps. But when Homer or whoever else was out there, they couldn't do nothing against us, bro. And I keep telling all y'all heading into this game, Aaron Jones and Chris Carson, to me, are the 2 most underrated running backs. One, because Carson has durability issues, and Aaron Jones because he has to deal with Aaron Rodgers, right? Audibling and not wanting to run like Marino. But Chris Carson, he was averaging 5 yards a carry, right? So he was kind of moving the ball at will at times. If he didn't play yesterday and it was strictly on Russell Wilson, I'll say this even farther. We might have beat them by double digits.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're at a point where you got to recognize a lemon when you see a lemon. And it looks like Jordan Howard might be a lemon. So
might be a
little bit. And at a certain point,
he's already lemonade, brother.
Bro.
He's opening up a lemonade stand.
I mean, the way he's playing, he's going to be
no damn lemon. He's a prune, bro. He ain't no damn lemon.
He opened that lemonade stand. As soon as he opened that lemonade stand,
he out here selling prunes, bro. He got a prune sale side of the
I'm telling you, man, we ain't too far away from Jordan Howard. Every time
as soon as he opened that lemonade stand, that sign fell right off.
I'm telling you,
I'm going with prune stand because I like that.
No, bro.
He ain't too far off from every time he touches the ball, calling him country time. He is straight lemons, bro. Straight lemons, bro.
He is
country time. Jordan Howard.
That dude there, man. I tell you. Oh my God.
And then you got Gaskins and you got Breda running effectively.
Hey,
I mean, all season long, like.
And I'm telling you, when they brought him in there, it's like The player saw him.
They did.
Yeah,
The lineman saw
him.
him.
Block for this.
All of them just put their heads down like, God damn.
And that's on Bailey. That's on.
You notice, even Fitz had his head down.
Oh yeah. All you got to do, hey, you know it's pretty bad when all you got to do is put a little sticky on the ball, turn around and hand it off to a pylon, and then Fitz can kick the pylon, and it's going to get more for you than what Jordan Howard's currently producing. That's when you we're getting at one point. I don't know what it is now. I know after 3 weeks he was average in week 3 he averaged 0.9 yards per carry.
The hell?
And that was a good game for us.
This man, yeah, exactly. There you go. Bro.
That was a game where everyone was eating.
Bring Balaj back.
Balaj,
I know, Ryan, all right.
You cut me for that. I would at least gave you one.
Yeah.
I know Jordan Howard.
Go ahead,
I know Jordan Howard ducking Bobby McCain at practice.
Yeah. He said, "Yo,
I'm waiting for it."
Yeah, don't give me the Caleb treatment. I gotta hold on to my $5 million a year, bro. Yeah.
That's the kiss of death when Bobby McCain lays you out of practice.
Nico's on to something, bro. I bet you Jordan Howard running in the mountain like Gatorade.
That's freaking genius.
Oh my god,
that is really funny.
Yeah. They're calling McCain the eater of souls right now in practice.
Man, that's funny.
But let me ask y'all this. You know what's even better? That hit that he laid on Sunday, imagine if that's the treatment that Balaj got, because they all told us he blew him up, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine if that and McCain is down too. That's even worse, bro.
McCain's talking too.
Yeah, he's flashing that smile, bro. After
hear Flores. Is McCain okay?
Funny. Yeah. Is McCain okay? Yeah, not even asking for that. Yo, get number 34 off of him, bro.
Flores walked over the lodge like, Bobby.
No, he's like, he gets up by Bobby, and then Balaj's like, oh, what about me, coach? Oh, you can drink some water, man.
Rub some dirt on that, bro.
I gotta get out of here. You all
bye, Todd.
All right, Todd. Be good, man.
All right, Todd. Be good.
We always appreciate you, Todd. Be good, man.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Yo, you know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for Ricky Williams to walk into the building and just rip that jersey off and say, you don't deserve that number, bro.
And the visor.
Too, bro. Next thing you know, right? Bro, Jordan Howard gonna come out week 8 with dreads and be like, "Yo, he's back, guys." Give me the ball, coach. I'm ready to go in.
I bet you he plays better.
Coach Flores
my God, that is funny.
Oh my God,
I'm the next Ricky.
This guy,
bro.
Man.
That's terrible. Jordan Howard's gonna walk in with dreads, low confidence, and run all over everybody.
Telling everyone, call me Jordy Howard from now on.
You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna get the name on the back of his jersey and
man,
Williams.
They gonna start calling him Howard Jordan, bro. Yeah, bro. They're like, where'd Jordan Howard go? Because this is Howard Jordan.
I won't be surprised if he goes full Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and changes his name to Ricky Williams, bro.
That's why I have his name Williams.
We need to
Williams.
We need to look up how his contract is structured to figure out
I'll look it up right now.
Whether or not they can move off of him relatively easily. Or not.
I know you were on your phone, but did you notice on our offense if we were moving Smythe around like we were with Jacksonville? That's the one thing I noticed. I didn't see that. And I thought that was a bad choice for them to go. Yeah, I really like that package, and I don't know why they got rid of it.
Yeah, it looks like Gilly is very progressively like opening more of the playbook week by week. Because you look at we got Perry, you got Bowden, you got guys that you can do some things with. Mm-hmm. So it just seems like once again in the rebuild, you're just trying to get the basics down first.
It was nice to see Bowden. It was nice to see Bowden.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see the combinations with the Bowden Perry combos.
Yeah.
All right. So we signed him. We signed him for 2 years, $9.75 million. Good God, someone arrest that man for thievery.
I know, right?
and
Again, he just needed a ski mask and a Mac 10, bro.
Yeah,
That's all he needed. He had everybody. He had everybody in the hospital.
A ski mask and a glass of lemonade. That's what he comes with.
Mac 10. A jar of
a glass of lemonade.
This man said ski mask and a glass of lemonade.
Coach Flores, when he interviewed him, said, "Hey, you still got some stuff in the tank."
Yeah,
of course.
No, he said, give me that bag of prunes on your desk, bro. Break yourself.
Here he is. So he was guaranteed. His total guarantee was $4.75 million. They paid that at signing. So this year he has a base of 1.75 with a roster of 3 million. So there's your 4.75, and that's his cap hit all paid out. Next year he has a base salary of 4.975. And he has a 0 dead cap hit if we want out.
Okay. I'll
It's
take
a
it.
wrap.
Yeah.
And we only owe him $25,000 if he shows up to workouts.
No, he won't make it.
We might even just pay him to go. Just say, look, man, just go home. You know what I mean? Just go on and go home, bro.
Go get that PS5. Go sit there. Go
right.
Go stand in line at a GameStop. Do something useful with your life.
Go
Don't
get
worry,
that
we'll
PS5.
call you. We'll
get
call
that
you.
PS5. Go in Madden, edit your ratings to make you good. You know what I mean?
Here's a PS5 and a free copy of Madden 21.
Yeah.
You just hit this man with the don't call us, we'll call you.
We'll call you. Don't worry. We'll call you.
That's a lot of money, bro. That's a lot of money for nothing.
Well,
that sucks.
But I mean, so what? Look. At least at the end of the day, we know he's collecting that check now, and he's sitting on a bench.
Yeah.
Look, I'd rather not see you. You know what I mean? It's hard to take.
You've already been paid. We owe you nothing.
When you're looking at him every single day, giving you absolutely no value, I'd rather not look at you. You know what I mean? I just say, look, just go home. Just go home, man. We appreciate you. You know, we'll be in touch.
They got Jordan Howard eating lunch by himself in the cafeteria.
Do we have anyone in the practice squad at all? Running backs?
I don't know what's going on with Patrick Laird. What's going on with Patrick Laird, bro?
What's the guy? Isn't Ahmed? What's his last name?
Ahmed Saban or something like that.
Yeah.
Give him a try at this point. I mean, it's better than.
But I don't. What's going on with Patrick Laird, bro?
Yeah.
I just think
he's just not getting a lot of
Gaskins. I think Gaskins.
I think he's just buried at number 4 right now, bro. Like Howard, that's 4 snaps you could have gave to Laird, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're doing just taking snaps from him.
And here's another thing, EM. This is why it makes more sense to give those snaps to Laird. You run it with Laird, you get what you get with Howard. Let's say when you run that screen pass, who you want to run that screen pass with that Howard got blown up with, Laird or Howard?
Exactly, bro.
So what's the point, bro? I don't get the point.
I think Laird would do better. I think he would do better.
Oh yeah, clearly. I was high on Laird coming into the season.
So was I. Yeah.
I love his skill set. I really.
You know what it sounds like too? It sounds like he hasn't been the same since that shoulder injury.
Yeah, might be.
That might be it.
Might be.
So, because even in training camp, he was losing snaps after that shoulder injury. Maybe it's just because Myles Gaskin was taken off. I don't know. But
well, if they pair down to Breda and to Gaskin, I think we have something. And I hope they do that. I think it's very important.
Has Jordan Howard always been like a bigger back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: if you go,
he's looking big.
Let me say this to you though: he was comparable size about 3 years ago, in Chicago, and if you look how effective he was before they brought in Tariq Cohen, they really didn't need to bring in Tariq Cohen. He was beasting it in that system. Then they brought in Tariq Cohen for the first year of Tariq Cohen, and they were an electric 1-2 punch. That's what I thought we were going to try and emulate with him and Breda. And then the last year there, they kind of handed more to Tariq. He left, and I'll be the first one to say that running game has never been the same in Chicago since they split Howard and Tariq Cohen up. So that's why I had hope that we were going to rejuvenate it with Breda, but it just didn't work out, man, because like I call Gaskin a scat back because he is, and he can run like that if he wants to, and he's got the speed like that and explosiveness like that.
Yeah.
But he runs like what you were getting or expecting to get from Howard.
Jordan Howard.
Yeah.
No,
So you don't need him.
And he's moving. And he's moving the back.
And he's faster, right?
Gaskins is the size of a scat back, but he does not play like one.
He loves contact, bro. He wakes up and looks for the first hole to hit.
He does.
And first lineman to take on, bro. Defensive lineman to take on. Like, I appreciate that, man.
But Jordan Howard, he did well even when he went to Philadelphia, though. I mean,
he got hurt.
He wasn't. He got hurt.
Is he still hurt? I mean, golly.
Shoulder.
See, no, I thought it was a hamstring. That's what I could have sworn. I went back and tried to find that article, but I could have sworn before the season started.
Is he still hurt? Because I mean,
I'm telling you, man,
nothing.
He looks fried physically and mentally, bro.
Yeah, he looks done.
Yeah.
So, but I can't be mad at him though. He beat that case. He robbed the Dolphins. He beat his case. He got his money
with a ski mask and a glass of lemonade. He got $5 million.
You got a guy who's creeping up on 3,000. I'm sorry, on 1,000 carries. Maybe it's just catching up to his body.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, we all know in terms of shelf life. The shortest shelf life in the NFL is the running back position.
It's the running back, 3 years, bro. 3 years.
Hey, what's Jordan Howard coming into? Year 4 now?
No.
Year 5?
He is. I'll tell you right now.
Year 5. I would say 5.
Yeah, I think it's 5. He is in. 5.
Maybe he may be hitting that wall.
Yeah.
He's got 900, including this year. He's got 61 games, 50 games started, and 915 carries.
Well, he's going out with a hell of a golden parachute.
Golly. Didn't Ricky get like 400 carries in a season once?
Yeah.
Gee.
Yeah.
Right now.
Didn't he get 401 game?
Right now he's got he's got 18 carries for 14 yards. He's averaging 0.8 yards a carry.
Oh my god. Put a 1 in front of it, it's better.
His longest rush is 4 yards.
He probably fell. Wow. He probably fell doing it.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you, man, he looks fried, bro. He looks like
you're right.
He looks like one of them old punch drunk boxers, bro, that you see. They just don't have it.
They're out there like that Russell Crowe movie. He's just out there boxing for the checks.
Yeah. That's what he looks like, man.
So I mean, it's going to look at a certain point, and I think the Dolphins fan base has come to the conclusion that he should be at the bottom of the depth chart. You need to upgrade Patrick Laird to that and just get him some action, because at the end of the day, I mean, you get nothing. It's we're a quarter of the season in. What is his most impressive play outside of a 2-yard run?
So last year, his injury was a stinger in the arm. He missed 6 games, and then Miles Sanders took over in that time. Remember?
A stinger? A
stinger,
and he missed 6 games?
He said he took a hit in his arm. He took it like contact from a helmet in his arm, and he felt it go numb. He's like, I thought I would be back the next game, and he's like, the numbness didn't go away.
Man, come on, bro. Stop that. A stinger, bro, keeps you out of game 6.
Yeah, I was just reading quotes from him about
6 games.
Hey, no, man. If you don't have feeling in your hands for 6 weeks, that ain't no stinger.
No,
that ain't no stinger. If you can't feel your hands for weeks, that ain't a stinger.
Checking out. You're right, Antonio. I think is eligible for game 8. Yeah.
Okay.
And don't be surprised if you see Antonio Callaway get a look.
Let me ask this question though, because eventually when Tua does, get elevated to the starting role, do they elevate someone that he had that chemistry with?
I would. I would.
In the training camp, do you bring up, a Malcolm? Do you give Malcolm Perry an extended look? Do you give Mac Hollins an extended look? Do you give?
I would.
Guys he has chemistry with.
I talk about confidence, but you also got with the quarterback position. This is something that not a lot of people talk about, but comfort is also another one too. Mm-hmm. You got a guy who, the players you just listed, I listed earlier, that you could make the argument they're on the practice squad, or a guy like Mac Hollins is where he is right now because of his work and reps with Tua. So if you got those kind of work and reps that got them to where they're at, why not? Because here's the thing. That can automatically become his safety valve.
Yeah.
If he thinks to himself, okay, Devontae and Preston are going to be my initial reads because they're my most talented guys.
Yeah.
If he feels the pressure, one of those guys he feels comfortable with can be his third automatic read. Yeah. Or if he feels the pressure after the first read, he can automatically check to one of those safety valves. So that's why I like that decision. I think it's a smart play because you're, again, people might say I'm babying the quarterback when I talk about week 10 and the whole scenario with the Jets, the Jets. And then now I'm saying this. I'm not babying. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make this the easiest and smoothest transition as possible because we have a luxury that the Chargers didn't have when Tyrod's lung got punctured. We have the luxury that the Bengals didn't have when they decided to release Andy Dalton and throw Joe Burrow out there, whether they're performing well or not. Yeah. We just have a luxury those other teams don't have. So if you have that kind of luxury, utilize it to your best ability, and that is one of the ways, bro. And
the reasons
that's where I'm at.
The thing is that we're talking about making a decision back in March, April, and May. They had no real idea if Tua was even healthy. Even if they wanted to do that, they really couldn't have the confidence to do it.
That's why I go back to, they didn't draft him. When they drafted him, the intent was obviously not to start him week 1.
No,
like you'd have to be nuts to go into the draft.
They knew he was very healthy, right? When the doctors got in on him on Indianapolis, they did secretly get there. A lot of people, we've talked about this. They got the okay from around the NFL from just around the time of when he put out that training video. They got the okay from multiple NFL teams and the board of governors. We got our doctor in there because people don't realize after the scouting combine, he went back for another checkup in Indianapolis, and there was a doctor that all NFL teams basically okayed and subcontracted out there. Then after that, we got the okay because we had such a high pick from multiple teams and the NFL to get our doctor in there, and our doctor checked him out around the time that training video released, and we knew how far along the progress was. So I agree with you, Havoc. They knew that week 1, probably not a possibility, but it could be a real possibility sometime throughout the season for sure.
100%. Like during the season, 100%. They're expecting. Listen, I as much as, it might be a good idea to, write out the season, I'm on the side of, get him game experience this season. I just think that they have a timetable for him that we just don't know about.
Yeah,
I mean that's just what it is, and I think Brian Flores is in a situation where he's probably got a date on the calendar marked.
Yeah,
and he's probably just saying it fits.
I think EM's right. If you hear what Flores said, if you hear, and this is why I think week 10 is a real possibility. If you hear what Flores said today about, if I was the parent of the kid, I wouldn't want to coach just to rush them out there. And then he talked about media pressure and how he isn't going to do it. It seems like they have on the calendar, if we go back, what was the thing Armando leaked about a month and a half ago, EM, remember? That December was what he was hearing internally, right?
Yep.
And now, this makes sense with week 10 because week 10 falls after a year. Like it's after the year mark. So I think EM's right with it's going to be after the year mark. Like, could they go to him this week? Sure. Would we all be okay with it? Probably. But I think EM probably nailed it on with the head with what you're talking about, Havoc, the circled is probably a year mark. That's probably where it is.
But here's the thing. Their plan doesn't include all these losses.
That's why I just said that.
No, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right.
That
100%.
Right. That is why,
But EM's also right too, right? EM also
100%,
around the schedule thing, what did EM also say? EM also said, everyone, when we talked about how tough the schedule was, he said if the wheels fall off, and I agreed with them because I said, after he said, if you're 100% healthy, it is what it is, what I said. And then I added, there isn't 101%. We say 110%, but there is, it's 100% or nothing. EM's right. If you're 100%, And, you're acclimated to all these other things we've pointed out in terms of the playbook, the terminology, the speed of the game, the comfort level with the offense and Chan Gailey. All of a sudden, with the health, there's no excuse. You can't baby him. You can't baby him.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Right. I think they may also be in a situation where, Tua may be healthy, but the doctor says in ideal conditions, we would want him to, in ideal conditions, in a condition where he's in live action, where the idea of not the risk of him getting hit and live gameplay is real. The doctor's probably saying, you know what? 1 year is the standard for this type of injury.
Exactly. And that's been my point. That's been my point the whole time.
Just because he's ahead of schedule doesn't mean that the doctor isn't saying to them.
I'd like to know that.
Exactly.
I'd like to know that.
And see, I compare. Yeah. And see, I make the comparison of real world health and National Football League health.
Yeah.
Those are two totally different things. Yeah. Sure. Can he go work an 8-hour shift and sit on his behind for 8 hours? Yeah, absolutely. He can, he can walk, he can get around. But to go into, to play football for 60 minutes, bro, come on.
Yeah. Pure violence.
Sure he's health. Sure he's health, but he's healthy. But I just think that's just a smart move to make. Yeah. I just think.
And it's just I agree with you. He's healthy enough. Is he healthy enough to go out there and practice all day long? Of course he is. But as I would say, just from a doctor's standpoint, the standard on his type of injury may be 1 year. So are the Dolphins going to say to his doctor, you know what, man? He looks good enough to us. I don't think you do that with a rookie. Now, if he's in year 9, year 10, he's a veteran of the league and he's on his Brett Favre type of vibe, and I can go through the pain. That's a different story. But I'm talking about out the gate, first impression. Is that really what you want to do when you got your whole future ahead of you? It's
you see that, EM? EM's loving life right now.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I think I might be a better running back than Jordan Howard.
We need Mike.
Nico, if they gave you an option to start you on Sunday or Jordan Howard, you know what I would say? Well, at least I don't know what I'm getting with Nico. Let's see what we got.
I can guarantee you, I'm getting 0.9 yards.
Yeah. Yo, hey, all you gotta get me is 1 yard per carry, and you're giving me more than that guy is. Okay, that's it. Fall forward, Nico.
No.
Fall forward, bro.
Fall forward fast, right?
Get us some Balaj numbers, Nico.
Yeah. Balaj numbers.
Yo,
I can get that too.
If he brings me Balaj at this rate with Balaj, bro, I'm extending you with a year left right now, bro.
You know, Balaj is like, God damn it, y'all cut me for that. This is what you cut me for. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Wow, man.
On that. I remember Cameron during the middle of that season, his one and only season, he was talking about fail forward fast. Yeah. I was like, oh, this guy's a head.
Shout out to you, Jordan.
What the hell are you saying?
We always appreciate you, homie.
Fail forward fast. Okay.
I'm like, this guy's not a head coach.
All right, we're at the almost at the 10-minute to 3-hour mark here, and I know that outros usually take a really long time, so we're probably gonna hit 3 hours by the end of this outro, which is perfect for me. So we got 115 in the room still. So guys, don't leave because these outros they don't happen in 2 seconds. All right,
keep it tidy, everybody.
No, don't keep it tiny. You got 12 minutes to go. I'm giving you guys 12 minutes. We're Todd when we need them. I'm giving you guys 12 minutes for your outros, and I'm gonna save EM for last. So I'll start with the new guy. I'll save Havoc and EM for last. I'll start with the new guy, Nico. Appreciate you coming on. First of all, hopefully you come on way more, bro, because you're the homie, bro.
Absolutely, bro.
Absolutely. Good job.
So, yeah, man. Go ahead, Ian.
No, I was gonna say he's been riding with us since day one.
That's the homie, bro. That's the homie.
It's always great. Appreciate it.
Before you give your final thoughts, what's with the ostrich picture, bro?
The ostrich picture? Oh, the seal?
Oh yeah, the seal. It's a seal. My bad.
I've had it for a while. I don't know how to get rid of it. I would have put a dolphin logo or something.
There you go. There you go, bro. I was just wondering if you're out there saving the animals or something, bro. I was gonna let you plug your charity, bro.
Yeah, seals. SavingSeals.org.
Seals are us. Seals are us.
Seals.com.
Yeah. Trying to protect JordanHoward.com.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Have you seen JordanHoward.com?
Yeah. That might be his next trade, getting into the seal fur trade after this.
Yeah.
Yo, what's give us your final thoughts, Nico.
So I'm excited to see either tomorrow or Wednesday we're probably gonna get to know who's our starting quarterback. I'm assuming it's gonna be Fitzpatrick, but you never know. And yeah, I'm just excited. I think we have a good chance against the 49ers. They had a bad game versus Philly. They didn't look good at all. And they had Ziggy Ansah tore his bicep. He's out for the year. So they're still really slim.
Yes, sir.
Told you.
You know,
Dang,
Wow.
they are dropping like flies.
Yeah, man.
you know,
Dropping like
me and Bobby McCain. Me and Bobby McCain are going to be looking for Jordan Howard. And that's pretty
they're
much
dropping
it.
like they're Howard.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having me, guys, by the way.
I appreciate you, homie. Stick around. Pyro, what's going on, buddy? What are your final thoughts?
Well, I feel like that I'll get too much blame for the whole running on the.
You deserve it.
I don't think I deserve all that heat, but I just hope that whenever Tua starts, it's the right time and not influenced by the fans' demand. I just feel like because the coach, I think Flores said that he'll start Tua on his time or something like that. I think I heard on an interview, not interview, but
which he should. I agree with him 100% on that.
Yeah, like don't give in to the fans and the media.
Yeah, he said he won't give in to media pressure.
Yeah, and like he shouldn't.
No.
And so I just think that you start Tua when he's ready, and when he thinks he's ready. Don't try to push him out just because we say so. Do it when you put him out there when you feel like it. Don't listen to us. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't listen, especially I don't want to name any names, but
yes, sir. We know.
YouTube,
Yeah, we know.
You know what I mean.
He who must not be named. Well,
should not be named.
He's the Voldemort of the dolphin community. You just don't say the name. You know what I mean?
He who has been copyright claimed.
Bad things will happen.
Yeah, bad things.
Mr. One Read.
Don't say, hey guys, don't say it 3 times in a row in a mirror. You don't know what's going to happen with the lights out.
And
I was so tempted once. I was so tempted to try it.
One last thing. I always got to close out my statements by saying this.
Yeah.
Root against the Texans.
There you go. Yeah. Rhino. And by the way, I do blame you for calling out run because that would have been the perfect time for them to go back to the Wildcat, but you had to put that out in the air, and damn you, Pyro. Anyways, Rhino, you're up, bro.
After today's press conference with the Flo, I was left feeling that he kind of understands the pressure that's building, and it made me feel that even though they have a plan and we all agree with the plan and it makes perfect sense, things happen. I cannot believe internally that they're not having the same conversations that we are, that's saying that Tua is this and Tua is that.
Well, he said that tonight, right? He said he wouldn't commit to Fitz, and he said that's going to be discussed tonight in the meetings.
There you go. I can no longer muster the logic to say that it's 100% Fitz needs to start for me internally in my own thoughts. And I think that is because the preseason's over. He's obviously healthy. I think he could have done, I know we say, do we think he could have done as well? Yeah, I think he could have done as well as Fitz. I do. That's where I've come to in my mind. And if they start Fitz for the next 2 games, I'm okay with that. I have a feeling we're going to go on a little run here, and we're going to have the reverse problem. Do we start Tua? Do we really need to is what I think is going to happen, possibly. So it's 2 more weeks, and we'll know exactly where we are after these 2 weeks. We know whether we're going up, sideways, or down. So fins up.
Havoc.
As always, it's fins up all day, every day. As always, shout out to Australia, keeping it tidy.
Out to Australia. Where does it take with Australia?
have you been to Australia?
It's Jazz 803. Jazz 803 donates us.
Hey, Camus style as well. He's from Australia as well. Shout out to Western Australia, Perth gang. You know the deal. But
Perth gang,
Western Australia. You know the deal. To all y'all, to all y'all, to all y'all having an ongoing anxiety attack regarding the quarterback situation, just remember, Tua Tagovailoa does not play nose tackle, inside linebacker, or any of the other positions that are the contributing factors to many of our losses. So everybody calm down. I hate to say it, but I'm gonna keep saying it. It's a rebuild. We're not going to the Super Bowl this year.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy seeing these young players flourish before your eyes.
Yeah.
So, and remember this time. So when we in the playoffs, you can say, I remember that time when we were nothing and now we're something. So,
and I wasn't one of those people ready to jump off a ledge.
Hey, you know what I mean? Be like Mike Jones. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot.
Who?
They all own me. Mike Jones.
You remember the days? You remember the days when they were saying that the staff didn't like Tua? You remember those days?
Hey, fins up,
bro.
They said the coach.
Hey, I once heard Tua wasn't going to be drafted because of his Wonderlic score, but here we are.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Anyway,
hey, I remember that. Yeah.
I'll just close out by saying, fins up. Don't believe CBS Film Study.
CBS, it's more like PBS, bro.
That's what I want to talk about after the streaming, man. I want to talk about that.
Oh, good lord!
Real.
Have it got real.
You're up. No, I've got butterflies right now because of what Havoc just said. Anyways, you're up.
Yeah, gentlemen. As always, man. Reason to myself. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody's contributions. But at the end of the day, I know, I get, everybody's so eager to see Tua, and I'm one of them as well. But I just don't think that's the most pressing issue that's plaguing our team at this time. What I want to see in the next game, more so than anything, I will be paying close attention to Ryan Fitzpatrick as well. But I'll be paying closer to the quarterback position, the situation overall. But I think the most pressing issue we have with our team is, I'm going to say it again. It's these coaches, man, the lack of experience on a defensive end and the lack of consistency. With Chan Gailey situationally is killing us, bro.
I think he's been better the last 3 games, bro.
He has, but he's still not. I don't think
the Howard thing, man.
I agree
Howard
with
thing.
you.
He's getting better. Yeah, he's got. I even think
third downs. There's been a few. Those third down stats I read off are misleading because those first third downs we missed could have been called better situationally, and they would have been converted.
I think Josh Boyer has gotten better from game to game, but again, they're still situationally, it's killing us.
Yeah,
critical situations during the game, it's killing us. Cost us 3 games. So. But at the end of the day, that's what I'll be paying the most attention to. So at the end of the day, I want to see Tua like everybody else, but it's what it is, and you already know what it is all day, every day, baby, all day.
Just going off EM's point there, the thing that sucks about when your play calling is up to par, we're already a team right now where with all these new moving parts and with our current wide receiver situation, we can't afford to be playing from behind. And, and that goes, again, all the way from on-field product right now to coaching. And we find ourselves doing that far too much and not taking advantage of opportunities when they're presenting themselves to win games. But shout out to New Zealand because I had a fantastic New Zealand lamb shank tonight that my wife made, and it was incredible. Right out of the Dutch oven, and I'm not talking about under the covers. Then another thing people need to keep in mind too after this week, Drew Lock is going to be back this week. So, it doesn't look like we're going to be having the glorious task of facing Brett Ripon and helping our cause. So, and those receivers, especially Jerry Jeudy, are growing before your eyes right now. So, Noah Fant may be out as well. And that is a big key piece because I know he's out this week. So that's Noah Fant's been having a breakout year like I predicted him to have, but he might miss that game as well. So it might be Melvin Gordon, Drew Lock, KJ Hamler, and Jerry Jeudy, and that's it. We got to deal with offensively, and I can deal with that. And then, coming into this weekend, I'm in the sense of, like I said earlier, I get it if Tua starts. I understand it. And not from a pressure need, from a, hey, we're a quarter. This is what people need to keep in mind. We're 1-3 right now. What was the big talk this weekend with all the COVID breakout, right? The big talk was putting all these teams into a hotel, into bubbles, and turning it into a 12-game season. All of a sudden, if we're 1-3, that's no longer a quarter. That's a third of the season is now gone. Yep. So if that thing starts to become a reality and you shorten your season, you got even less time to see what you got before heading into this draft with all this capital. So I get if they pulled the trigger, but I also get if they don't, because like Rhino alluded to with, this game specifically, and like I just said with Denver, they're winnable games. And right now you have to ask yourself, and that's what they're asking themselves internally, and they would know better than us.
Hopefully.
Who gives you the better chance to win right now?
Right.
Because the next two games are winnable, and even that Chargers game is winnable because you're facing a rookie quarterback yourself who, he started 3 games. In the second one, he looked like the guy on tape more in terms of the turnovers than he did the last 2 games. His last game was phenomenal. I will give props to him on his last game.
The game plan for him.
Burrow's been phenomenal, but I would say the same thing with Tua. I need to see more than 3 or 4 games. Let me see 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and let's talk. Even then, it's carried over into the second year because we all saw what Baker Mayfield's flashing right now again. So that's why I'm
a scaled down version of Baker Mayfield.
He played well yesterday, man. That offense was rolling with OBJ. Dak put up 500 yards and over 60 points in fantasy, and they couldn't win that game. That was crazy. Wow. But I'm fine with Fitz starting the next 2 games. Call me on the fence if you want. I'm fine with either or right now because we're 1-3. Either Fitz is going to lead us to 2 wins, or what did he say last year when he went from Fitz to Rosen and then back from Rosen to Fitz? I want to go with the guy who gives us the best chance to win. There could be people in that locker room we don't know because we weren't open and privy to the practices, specifically in the receiver room, that are saying, hey, that kid was pretty good. Let's see what we got here. You know what I mean? Because, here's the thing. What did Fitz say last week before this game happened? He said there's throws Tua makes at this level that I can't. There's a million throws. And then we saw those clips leak from Chester Rogers. And then you saw Fitzpatrick. He had the zip last game. That's why he was forcing it. And he had a couple errant throws because he was trying to force it over linebackers underneath that he thought his arm could make the throw, where maybe Tua's live arm could have made that throw.
Or he would have processed it quicker.
That's legitimate.
I'm not that by no means he would have put up as many points as Fitz has put up in the last 3 games in terms of us offensively. I'm not saying that. I'm just being specific to certain throws. So I get both sides of the coin right now. I get where it's at. But, my issue is with the people who are 2 weeks ago trying to tell all of you that he's a bust because he didn't beat out Fitz. And now they see some clips and they're trying to tell everyone, hey, why isn't this guy starting?
After one throw.
In the same breath, they were also calling this guy a one-read quarterback, and Josh Rosen was beating him out, and et cetera, et cetera. So, like we said earlier, guys, if you look into things, the fact that Josh Rosen got released in the context of the circumstances right now, that shows you a multitude of things. That shows you they were clearly comfortable with how Tua was grasping the offense, grasping the playbook, his game speed comfort, his comfort overall in the offense and under the coaching staff and understanding what did they wanted from that position compared to what Josh Rosen was giving you. And like I said, here's the damning evidence, and we just dropped it for the first time tonight. Mac Hollins, Malcolm Perry, Myles Gaskin, these are guys who got put on the radar and are where they're at right now. You can make the legitimate argument that it's because of what Tua was doing with them in the season. And here we are, guys. So, you've got to find solace in that fact that, guys, trust me, this is a student of the game. He's seen the mistakes and the bad decisions Fitz has made. He won't make those. He might make some because he's a rookie, but it won't be as consistent as what you're seeing. That's just like him. If there's one guy out there, and one of the things I loved about Drew Lock was his ability, he would make a mistake, he would get away with something, he would identify that, you would see them give him the same look, and he wouldn't make the same mistake again. Tua falls into that same category, guys. So
I agree.
Don't be overly anxious. Be excited that your boys, Reese and EM, and I'm sure some other people up here, all thought he was a better prospect talent-wise coming out than Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert.
Yep.
And you're seeing what you're seeing from them right now, and you got a student of the game on the sideline learning day in and day out who you've already seen the traits from in those clips. Be excited that when he comes in, he's probably going to be even more prepared than what you saw Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert being when they trotted out there. And that's a scary, scary thought if our evaluation lives up to what we truly believe it's going to be. Put that into context, people. Other than that, with that, we'll be back in the next few nights. I'm going to try and get that Solomon Kinley out before we get into our pregame show that we do on Friday night. If I don't, we'll figure something out. I got a couple other ideas, but guys, y'all already know what time it is. It's Fins Up all day, every day. Smash that button, subscribe if you haven't. And guys, another thing I want to plug, if you haven't already, go over to Spotify, whatever you use, head on over to there and, go check out what we got going on with in terms of me and the homie ball game and over there with Richmond Web guys. We got currently right now over on Dolphins Brawl. All you got to do is go search up Dolphins Brawl, and it's going to be at the top right there. The first episode is called The Starting Line. It's called The Finish Line. It's my new podcast, audio podcast with Richmond Webb and Mr. Ball Game. It pains me every day that EM is too busy to be a part of it because we got a brand new intro coming in, new music and stuff like that. Because I was like, you know what? Something isn't missing. And I found the most perfect intro, guys, and it's going to get you hyped up before we even get to talking. So we'll be dropping that episode. We'll be recording Wednesdays and we'll be dropping them Thursdays. So guys, be out on the lookout. Go check it out if you haven't. All your major podcast outlets, Spotify, Apple, with iTunes, whatever you want to go on Podbean, it's all there. So just search under Dolphin Brawl guys, and we will be the first episode, The Starting Line, and look for us every Thursday. Other than that, guys, it's Fins Up all day, every day. We love each and every one of you.
Absolutely.
Because you just drive us to be better and look at the growth of this channel. So we'll see you.